Procedurally, this is a special land use, so when we do get to the point of taking action, presumably next month, there are 3 items that will be up for commission consideration: the impact assessment, the site plan, and the special use. Those will all be in front of you for recommendations to the township board. The board does have the final approval authority over all 3 aspects. That being said, so in terms of submittal requirements, the petitioner does need to provide an updated environmental impact assessment. The project in terms of the dividing of the land into the 2 condominium units, plus the contractor's yards for the special land use, that all went through the commission, Amy, what was it, a few years ago?
2024, they were approved.
Wasn't even a few years ago. That's correct. So there would have been an impact assessment approved with that project. So I think just for petitioner's insight, I think take that document and update it to incorporate the new component that's being added and provide all of the pertinent information as it relates to the outline that's in the ordinance. So that'll be something they will need to provide. Hopefully they can get that done, have that submitted for review in advance of the next potential meeting. That covers the submittal requirements. Everything else was provided as needed. With respect to the special land use review, I do generally think that the special land use standards are met. I do have 2 points sort of as a subset to that comment. One is this use in terms of the storage of hazardous materials, in this case fuel, does have specific use requirements attached to it to help ensure that we have full protection of the property, the environment, and surrounding properties. So understanding that, I want to make sure that those standards are met to the commission's satisfaction. If you are satisfied with that, then I think you're in position to make favorable findings on the special land use standards. And of course, my standard go-to, anything that comes back as it relates to the fire review or engineering review, need to make sure that the petitioner addresses those items as well. If those 2 items are met to the commission's satisfaction, I don't personally see any issues as it relates to the special land use standards. With respect to the specific use conditions, so section 13.07 of your zoning ordinance provides a number of items for your consideration. The first item in my review letter is that we do need to see a clear demonstration that secondary containment is provided. That is a requirement of the ordinance. Typically, when we see these things, the concrete slabs that they're posted into have sufficient capacity to withhold and make sure that if there is a leak or a breach, that it's not going to spill over off of the concrete slab. But I want to make sure that we see some notations and some details of that item in the site plan itself. And then the other item I have is, because of the nature of the use, there is a requirement that there's potentially some some outside agency approvals and permits that are needed. So as we get into the process, either if they have those, then we'd want to see documentation provided, or if they're going to need to get them subsequent to township action, then we'll make sure that those are conditions of any recommendation you put forward and any action that the board takes. I do have one thing that I guess I want to put out there for discussion purposes, only because I don't remember the exact dialogue. I know this has come up before with respect to storage or above ground storage tanks, and I know we talked about it, and I know we started to evaluate the idea of changing the ordinance, but that has not yet occurred. So what I do want to put out and make sure we're all on the same page is the idea of having 2 250-gallon each storage tanks, whereas the ordinance says you can have a maximum capacity of 300 gallons within a tank. So as I read the ordinance, I think strict interpretation of the ordinance, I think they meet it. Even though there are 2 tanks, they don't have a single tank that is over the 300-gallon max capacity. So by my read, I do believe they are compliant, but because I know this came up before and I don't recall exactly where we landed on staff and commission's interpretation, I do think this is a valuable use of time to make sure we're on the same page moving forward. And if not, then potentially there would be the need for petitioner to seek a variance or to figure out the timing with the potential ordinance amendment and how that might fit together. So that's really the biggest thing I think I wanted to put out there for discussion tonight.
Thank you, Brian. Shelby? We didn't have anything unique on the engineering side for this one, just that the bollard details should be updated per the fire authority's comments.
Right. And those comments included, let's see here, construction of steel not less than 4 inches in diameter and concrete filled. You've seen all these, haven't you?
I saw those.
Okay, so you know what you're gonna be up against.
We'll make that adjustment.
All right, thank you. Is there any discussion up front? Anyone have any questions or concerns yet?
I have a couple questions, Brian. In your review letter, and I do recall having this discussion, I'm trying to remember if there was actually something on the initial site plan for a fuel storage tank, and then it was taken off? Do it,
There was.
Right.
In the initial conceptual submittal, might have been the preliminary site plan, I don't remember exactly. Fuel tanks were proposed on both units 1 and units 2. At the time, they wanted to move forward with the site plan. That was not yet finalized as to exactly how they wanted to do that or location, so we took those off.
took those off, okay. Yeah, that was my recollection.
Yeah.
Plus,
Brian,
we were waiting for the, ordinance to change. There was discussion of that, so we thought maybe we waited out. But we just got to the point where we can't wait. We're hoping to, be in the building the next month and a half, 2 months.
Well,
Okay.
if I could, Mr. Chair, if I recall, again, this is my memory, so take it with a grain of salt. I believe with that initial proposal, the tanks were going to be larger than the 300 gallon.
There was another contractor here at the same time with site plan approval for theirs that had the tanks on it.
Yep.
And we kind of sat back, watched what was going on with them.
Fair
and
enough.
Decided to hang tight.
Okay.
They had, I think, 2 500-gallon tanks at the time.
Thank you, yeah, so my memory was partially correct.
yes.
I think it was Michigan Rec.
Yeah. The second question I had was, so in page 7, under your special use review, just to clarify, the plan makes, and you say the plan makes no reference to accessory fuel storage. Are you talking about the master plan?
That's correct.
Okay. All right, just wanted to make sure that that was, I was clarifying that. So if the master plan makes no reference to that, but yet there is a reference to being able to have at least a 300-gallon tank, is that for a different zoning? For?
No, that's the ordinance, that's
the
not the
ordinance.
master plan.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you, the ordinance,
The
yes.
ordinance allows with special use approval up to
Okay.
a 300
Thank
gallon
you.
max capacity tank.
Okay,
The
got it.
master plan itself does not provide any guidance
Thank
as it
you.
relates to this type of accessory
All right,
fuel storage.
it's been a couple months, thank you for the
Understood.
refresher.
For you and me both.
So on that, I'm sorry, were you done with your questions?
Go ahead.
Thank you. So on that, if, for a special land use, to have the allowance of above-ground storage of fuel or other hazardous waste material, I guess the question is, the master plan would indicate what that parcel was zoned as, the uses for zoning?
So the master plan would have a future land use classification, and that's why in my review, I referenced the fact that with the approval, the township did deem that the contractor's office and storage yard was compatible with the master plan. So it's, again, it's silent on accessory fuel storage, but the fact that the site has already been approved for the use, and then knowing that accessory fuel storage, at least in this community, has been relatively commonplace with those types of uses. So that's the connection that I'm trying to make, while understanding that there is no, unfortunately, there's no direct guidance through the master plan with respect to the actual use of the fuel storage.
But there is an ordinance that allows for that?
Correct.
Yes, okay. And then, sorry,
No, that's okay.
my last question was, this is going to be diesel fuel, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I know there's no details yet for the secondary containment, and we also know that there's at least one more meeting coming up. So What should we expect from that secondary containment?
Secondary containment nowadays is generally provided by a double-wall tank. That is the standard for providing secondary containment in small above-ground storage tanks. That is noted, by the way, in the IPP report, that it will be a double-walled AST. That annotation didn't get on our drawing, but that's what is intended, and that's what was shown in the IPP as well.
So is there no capacity in the concrete, like Brian was talking about with basically a sink underneath it?
That is the old method of doing it, where if you have a single wall tank,
Right,
you need to provide external secondary containment
Right, that
for the
exceeds,
volume within
yeah.
that tank.
Yep.
The problem with that is that then you're also providing storage for rainwater, unless you begin to cover the tanks, provide roofs over the tanks. It gets to be,
More hazardous.
yeah, a bigger challenge to maintain and operate.
right, and those are typically, will hold more than what the tank does.
110% is the.
Right.
Correct.
So what about the double wall? What is that, is there a ratio, or is there something that's going to equate to?
Current double wall steel above ground tanks are monitored, so if there is a fuel leak from the primary tank into the secondary tank,
It's a
then
tough
the
alarm.
monitoring systems indicate that the tank has failed and it needs to be removed.
All right, thank you.
I'm curious as well, what other agencies are required to get permits for these tanks? Be it, from a zoning perspective, we know we have this, but what other state agencies have requirements for these things that you would seek a permit for this?
The only, the local fire marshal needs to approve it as well, and the state does.
Okay. I'm trying to rack my brain as well in regards to the conversation a couple years ago that we were having with the Michigan Recreation, I think on Grand Oaks Drive. And, we had a pretty lengthy convo about that. Amy, the result of that, was the result a request to review the ordinance, or was there no review of the ordinance? What was the result of that conversation?
That's a great question. Let's take a look at the minutes.
Now we
That
got her
was what
thinking.
prompted
Yeah,
us to update the fuel storage?
Right.
it has been updated in the last, or not?
No,
It's
not
not,
No.
not yet, okay.
A draft of it is on for tonight.
That's right, okay,
Yes.
all right.
Yep. I think,
So here's the conundrum then, sequencing wise.
I knew you were gonna ask that.
Well, we'll
So,
just see how things play out tonight is all we're gonna do, but
well,
sequencing wise, there's a potential here where if we approve and then the township board supports approval of new, does that change anything about the plan they're bringing in?
this plan would be approved prior to them even being heard at Livingston County Planning. And it wouldn't even be heard by the board until March, the end of March. And I did take a look to see if they meet everything that is proposed.
Yeah,
The only thing that would change is this setback right here. They would have to be 100 feet from there. But they would also be allowed to have one 500-gallon tank. They could actually have two 500-gallon tanks or one 1,000-gallon tank. If
yeah,
sequencing wise.
okay. All right. This feels like a very similar conversation, because there is proximity to wetlands. And although,
There is,
there's not a direct connection to the master plan for consideration here, one of the goals of the master plan is to protect our natural features in our community. So I do see this as part of that visioning towards that.
Because currently, right now, we don't have setbacks.
Right.
From the wetlands, which is why we added the setbacks in there. And they have to be 200 feet, and I forgot to reach out to Wayne, I was gonna measure how far this is to that wetland. I think you're about 200 feet.
Looks close. I haven't measured it.
Yeah, and it was my fault, I meant to grab the plan and just throw a line on it. But I think that they would meet,
Is that 25-foot wetlands?
it's not from the buffer, I mean from the wetland.
I know.
That 25-foot buffer looks pretty big on the plan.
Yeah, that one
So that would
flag sticking out on the far northwest
Yeah,
corner really messes
yeah.
that up, don't it?
Yeah,
There's
that
probably
would
one
be the
cattail there,
thing
isn't
I'd
there?
be concerned about,
Yeah.
but they have room to move it up, cause I believe I have proposed 150 feet
Mhm.
from an occupied building.
when you say up, are you talking north,
Closer to the building.
west?
West,
Okay,
Yeah,
Sounds
away
good.
from the wetlands.
okay.
So they would have, I don't know how that would interrupt if you have a truck route or how you move the vehicles around.
Not noticeably.
I have 150 feet from an occupied building.
That's what it would, if it was passed.
The ideal outcome, in my opinion, would be that this would meet the requirements. This is a tough position to put the petitioner in, but the requirements of both the current and a hopefully very soon new zoning ordinance on this area. That'd be the ideal outcome.
I think it's right there. I just scaled it with a piece of paper.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have room, they could even move it over to the north to meet that 100-foot.
One other thing I just want to point out, I can't think of too many properties in our community where industrial directly abuts pretty large acreage, residential.
Correct.
And I think that should just be a consideration in our conversations.
How did, just for my own edification here, was this property, I'll call it the Merlot construction property, was it rezoned to accommodate this? Did it also used to be country estates? It was light industrial to start
It was
with?
industrial, yes,
Industrial to start with.
correct.
So when this was given approval to go ahead and now there's buildings there and driveways and all that kind of stuff, I'm assuming that things like noise pollution, light pollution, vibration, all of those things were tested and approved. All the ordinances for those types of limits had been met at the time. Were there any deviations, or did they
No,
meet
they were not
the
granted any variances for that,
variances?
nope.
Do we periodically go back and randomly retest for noise or light or odor or dust?
No. And just like down at the corner, if we're driving by and we see it, we will go after it, we get a call, we will do that. That would be our plan, is to have somebody go out and take a look. We did hire somebody in our planning department, who's our planning coordinator, who will be going out and doing site inspections now for new constructions.
Does the addition of these two storage tank constitute new construction for a concrete pad? They do have to put that in there. I'm asking because part of our packet was a complaint from, to your point, Eric, somebody that lives right next door to this. And, you know, I guess reading their concerns, I wouldn't want that going on next to my property personally. So I was wondering, you know, they do have concerns with the noise, they have concerns with the diesel engine, with the fumes and everything else like that. And I'm wondering when's the last time, if we have sent anybody out to check and measure since
We
receiving
do
these
not have a way
complaints?
to measure fumes.
Okay, but I mean, light and sound, you know, you do those noise.
Yeah, the noise, we do have a noise meter that someone can use. The noise is taken from the property line.
Right.
So and noise is very hard to even take to court. But yes, we do have a noise meter. We do not go out and do that, no.
Okay, I mean, we
Again,
don't do it if somebody
We did not receive a
complains?
complaint until January 7th of this year regarding this parcel.
Okay, so is the plan then to go ahead and take the noise meter out there to do a measurement?
Yes, yes. The applicant has already been, we've already started enforcement issues on what we can,
Mhm.
because, you know, a lot of this stuff happened in '24 when we were never notified. He's already contacted Brian has already contacted the code enforcement officer as soon as he got the letter, so they are working on those also.
Okay.
We recognized when they came with this project that it was right next to a residential home. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
And on that
So-
person's, I mean, a violation is a violation.
Right.
And on that person's land use permit, it says you are, you know, we wanna make them cognizant, they are building right next to an industrial piece of property, an industrial zoned piece of property. So that was noted on their land use permit when their permit was pulled for, their house. So, I mean, we do try to let people know, hey, you know, you guys are kind of out of the norm, you know, residential,
Yeah.
right next to industrial, just like Eric said. So we do wanna notify people of that.
And we did, when this plan was brought to us, made great painstaking to talk about, you know, making sure there was, you know, a buffer to the north, a buffer to the wetlands, a buffer to the east, so that it, you know, it was trying to give a natural effect of a escape that was going to be wide open all of a sudden, right? It was changing, but I felt like we tried to do justice to the surrounding properties to make sure that the flow was going to be acceptable.
So they were notified when they bought the house or was buying the house that there was
They
going
built
to
the
be?
house.
They built the
Yes, they were
house, yeah,
notified.
yeah.
And again, we did not receive complaints until January 7th of this year.
Okay.
And to understand, both of these buildings were approved based on the zoning and what they could actually be used for. There was no special use or other things that were, or variances, like you said.
There was a special use for the outdoor storage.
Right, for the outside storage.
Yes.
But
And-
that's a situation where we're putting in fencing and doing things like that to hide it.
Yes, there was the required fencing, the required buffer. I can actually pull that up for you.
Yeah, and Mr. Chair, I just pulled up my last review letter for the original project from '24, and at least based on my review of the plans at that time, the lighting was fully compliant with ordinance standards, as was the landscape plan, which includes the buffer zone requirement.
Okay, thank you.
Is there C of O, are you operating out of there now? Okay,
We're anticipating a temporary C of O within the next month or so.
what would be if these fuel tanks get approved, what would be the timeframes that you would be filling your operations that need that, you know, with the gas?
Actually fueling.
It,
Yeah,
March-ish, I mean, if it was April, that'd be fine too. I mean, all,
oh, I'm sorry, what I meant was if you're fueling what you're.
Refueling the machine.
Yes, thank you,
what time of the day?
yes.
I can't, I don't know, I'm not sure, I can't answer. I mean, it'd be varied hours, it'd be early, it'd be midday, it'd be late, I mean, it'd be all over.
I think that would really depend on
The
who's
project,
filling it,
yeah, yeah.
you know, on what their schedule is.
Just as in reading the information that the applicant has suggested is going on, just, you know, we do have an ordinance that says 7 o'clock in the morning for construction, correct?
Correct.
Nothing can happen before 7 o'clock.
Correct.
I would hope that the regulations regarding operation would be adhered to so that the neighbors are confident that they're not going to be abused and giving them issues with noise, lights, those kind of things. Being a good neighbor to make sure that you are coordinating those timeframes and regulations with what the township's ordinances state.
We're trying to be a good neighbor. Any issue that she's directly brought to my attention, we've remedied it immediately. In as much as the letter that we received from the township today, I didn't realize that there were some temporary construction lights on the second level. Apparently they could see them. I went over and I turned them off today. I made a simple text to me would have sufficed as well. There was another day in the fall, we had a concrete slab. You guys will see it in this information that was dropped off. It was October. The concrete wasn't setting up. It wasn't getting hard. The guys had to stay late. It wasn't planned. We didn't want to do it. She sent me a text at midnight. I called her the next morning and apologized to her. I dropped some gift cards over at her house just as a neighborly gesture, and said we have one more night, that we have one more placement. It could bleed a little bit late. I said, I'll notify you. I sent her a text. She said, thanks, Brian, gave me a thumbs up emoji, and that was the last I heard from her. Again, had she texted me whenever she saw these interior lights on that were,
Shining
illuminating her
through, yep.
yard, we would have turned them off immediately. Like I did today. It was a
Right.
10-second. I flipped the breaker and it was done. Like, we want to be good neighbors. We're investing a lot of time, a lot of money, in being members of the community. It doesn't make sense for us not to get along with the person next door.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for being cognizant of that and responsible to those things. I'm sure the neighbor will appreciate that, so.
How do you anticipate right now, it's still an active construction site.
Yes.
How do you anticipate the current condition changing when it comes to being just part of your general operations and with what you've already have approved?
So the exterior lights will be all the approved exterior lights that I'm sure Wayne designed and approved in coordination with the township standards, county standards, whatever it may be. So the parking lots are gonna be illuminated, I'm sure, 24/7? No? Yes? I don't know.
I have to look back at what was on the plan, but so I don't remember, but the lighting plan conformed to the township ordinance.
Right, so I don't know the answer to that. The interior lights, it's all per the building code. I mean, everything, we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars with him, the architect, engineer, to make sure everything complies with the building code. For them, it's an office and shop. People are gonna be working there during normal business hours. We're construction guys, we start early, but she might see my car parked in the parking lot at 6 AM if I have to get a bid out. Just like I might see her car parked, leaving her house to make a run to Meyer at, 10 o'clock at night. We're not building anything there. It's a storage yard and building it. That's it. We don't do precast concrete panels. We don't produce anything there. It's just equipment repair.
At that point, dust controls won't be an issue because it'll be a fully established site.
Like, the dust control, the contradiction here is kind of funny. One day, there was an issue that we had excessive dust and inadequate dust control, and then I think, it was 2 items down, unauthorized use of fire hydrant, which we paid for a fire meter from MHOG, and we were filling a water truck for dust control. But 2 items down, I don't follow the logic here.
I think what I'm just trying to understand is foreshadowing, like, how's this site operate once it's fully complete and done, not evaluating it as a active construction site, which right now is kind of what's being evaluated. And personally, I don't think that's fair. And I think that I'm just trying to make sure I fully understand and comprehend what the condition of this site is and what the experience is of the adjacent properties when it's just operating in normal condition. No one's experienced that yet today.
Correct.
And I think that is, I'm sorry, I don't mean that.
No.
I think that is why the neighbor is concerned, and to be honest, I don't blame her. She knew she was building next to an industrial, but then you also knew you were building next to residential.
Yep.
So, I believe, looking at the pictures, yes, the light you already turned off. That was, I would agree with turning that light off. The dust control, we can't go back and fix that now, but I think if it was an issue,
A text would have fixed it.
Yeah, but you still wanna make sure that you're making her property values and her right to live there the same as yours, to use as your property as industrial. Does that make sense? So So we wanna make sure that when you guys go forward, that we're starting at 7, with the trucks starting up, with the noise is at 7. So I think that's one of her concerns, for sure. And I think, like you said, we don't know what the construction, what it's gonna be after it's opened. And then is, you know,
Yeah, and then I think, so then, here's where the train of thought has to go. Because the conversation tonight isn't about any of that, ultimately.
Right.
It's about fuel storage tanks.
Right.
So does the fuel storage tanks impact positively or negatively the general operations you anticipate for this property?
Yeah, zero bearing on it. Zero.
It's
Fuel
not-
will get there one way or another. It's either we have truck storage where a truck comes and fills it up every day, or once a week, or whatever it is, or every day a truck will come and fill up every piece of equipment on site.
Yeah. Okay.
And then in terms of dust, Mr. Roush, everything that you see from the building over to the west is all concrete. So, I mean, everything from there is all concrete. There's asphalt millings, which we use, you know, chloride to keep the dust down in the summer, just like they do on any, you know, county, you know, local road. And I mean, ultimately, we have a $6 million building we just built, right? I don't want my windows dusted out. It's gonna cost me more than $800 to have our windows professionally cleaned. I don't wanna have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Right?
I just wanna make sure, I did pull up the landscape plan, because you were talking about what was previously approved. And this is what was approved when they, back in 24. You were talking about buffers.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
pretty robust.
Significant,
Yeah, and I saw it out there too. So,
Have you been out there recently?
Mhm.
Gotcha.
Just out of curiosity, the location of these two tanks, how did you go about deciding the optimum
Kind
location?
of for Amy's question earlier, just truck turn around, and truck can drive up and have adequate room to drive around. Plus weighing all the setback requirements.
The location was limited by the ordinance requirements.
well, you know, obviously tonight's discussion, but just from my point of view, as the discussion moves forward, I think whatever assurances we can get for the protection of the wetlands, to me, that's number one. And I think that we have a responsibility up here to preserve those and make sure we're taking all the appropriate measures and asking all the right questions to do that to the best of our abilities. So just so you know, in my opinion, that's critical. Yeah, that's our critical thing.
Are you, let's say, 200 feet is approved? That's the problem, is we don't know what, based on our discussion tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, so many.
wasn't there
We'll have to let
wetlands
that
on,
conversation play out later.
wasn't there wetlands on the Grand Oaks property too,
Mm-hmm.
to the
was.
south?
Right.
Yeah,
Yes,
there was,
Yep. And we had a pretty lengthy conversation with that too. So.
yeah.
we did.
I think even if that 200
It was
feet
pretty
gets
heavily
approved, they're
treated,
so
as I
close.
recall.
Even if they had to move it, it wouldn't be much.
Yeah.
Right.
They already had a buffer built in.
So I think they would have, we'll have to see how number 4 plays out.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like sending anybody away without direction.
I think you should stick around.
Or I can,
Yeah.
or I can send you a,
Send me an email in the morning.
In hindsight, maybe we should have flipped the agenda around, honestly.
Any other questions or concerns up front?
play it out of, all of our stuff goes last.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
We don't like to make the
Yeah.
applicant wait, which we're making the applicant wait.
Yeah.
So we did make a comment, and I got the yes nod. You had made a comment about construction starting at 7:00 PM.
AM.
Yeah, I'm sorry, AM, yeah. But then it was, okay, so the trucks start up at 7:00 AM. That's when the beep, 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 that's when that can start, is no earlier than 7 AM.
Correct.
The noise
And
ordinance.
the refueling of the vehicles and all that kind of stuff is considered construction starting at 7 AM.
Well, their general operations, regardless of construction or not, my understanding is it's 7 AM to 10 PM. Is
That
the
is our noise
conditions of the
ordinance.
noise ordinance and the highest decibel level allowed.
Right.
And then decibels come down from
Outside those hours.
outside those hours, yep.
All right, if there's nothing up front here, I'd like to make a call to the public. If there's anyone in the public that would like to speak on this matter, step forward right now.
Like the only member of the public tonight. So
State your name one more time.
Denise Policella, 4200 Sweet Road. And you sound like good neighbors, so don't take anything I say right now personally. Little bit of a confusion on my part. I don't see that they have a special land use permit for a contractor's yard. I did a quick search, but it's a quick search, so if that could be clarified by you, I know I can't ask a question, but the application that I saw back in 2024 said office space and shop space for mechanics and materials storage. I can't get a good feel for whether or not this is gonna be outdoor equipment storage and fueling of trucks. I don't know why they actually think they need an outdoor storage tank there or two. Everybody uses diesel with trucks. They just go and fill up at the gas station with diesel. So if this is a cost-saving measure or if it's a convenience, that's fine, it's their business. But I haven't figured out whether or not they have an SLU for a contractor's yard yet. They put on this application and the public hearing is for the storage tanks. But they refer to themselves as a contractor's yard. And under the zoning ordinance, a contractor's yard is a special land use permit under 802B. So I'm just curious if they've requested or been granted a special land use permit for a contractor's yard. Because that's not what they were originally granted back in 2024. And if that's what this is supposed to be, I think that sort of permission for a contractor's yard needs to be sort of rolled into what they're requesting now. One other thing, I get that you've got a unusual residential industrial situation. I sympathize with both of you. Perhaps consider instead of landscape buffer, a 5 to 6 foot high berm. You know, so you've got some dirt there with some vegetation on it that might help everybody out, especially with noise. Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
I can't answer that question. They were approved for a special use. It's even in the minutes that they were approved for a contractor's yard. And I do have the special use that was signed. Let me grab it again real quick. They were approved May 20th of 24, and their special land use permit was signed on, sorry, I'm working with double screens here. 7/1 of 24.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
All right. Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
Hello, I'm Deborah Beatty, 3109 Pineview Trail. It's also confusing that we have the neighbor saying that business was conducted last year, starting at 5:30 a.m., where equipment was loaded onto flatbeds and moved in and out of the yard. But we're hearing different tonight. That's a problem for me when I think that they want something else. And also, I'm just here about this because of the wetlands, because that's always one of my biggest concerns, protecting wetlands and woodlands. And this is awful close to the wetland, and in their own documents, it says this property does drain directly towards the wetlands, to their detention pond, and then directly to Ackerman Lake. Those all seem like a problem to me if we're talking about doing, I think oil changes, because I think I read that there are oil storage tanks. I think it was used oil storage tanks on the property, and then there's going to be fuel tanks and fuel being loaded into vehicles on a probably daily basis, and we're going to have that runoff go towards wetland and lake. That's a problem for me. And I think that the buffer, I drove by there today, and I have talked to the person that wrote the letter in depth. And I drove by there today, and that buffer, while it's new, maybe it was put in last year, it doesn't do anything to mitigate anything that you see from that property or hear or smell from that industrial property. It doesn't do a thing. Small pines, which will grow eventually, and tall oaks. And I've told that other oaks were removed from that border already. So there's not many standing that are, I believe, are still on the residential property. So right now, it's not looking good for the resident there. And she has complained a lot about a lot of discomfort from this property, smell, noise, vibration. And if they're going to be, if this is going to be a company that does right, I would have liked to heard that they've already done right before we give them something else. Thank you.
Would anyone else like to step forward? Seeing none, I'll bring it back up front. And is there any additional discussion?
I have a question, but did I just understand correctly that none of these concerns were brought to the attention of the township or the
Correct, we did not find out until the neighbor contacted me on January 2nd. I spoke with her January 7th, and I told her, please send me everything, even if it was from 24. So we have all the documentation, and she has been sending us information since January 7th of this year.
And this is the first time you've heard of these complaints, other than the few times she reached out to you?
Correct, and
Okay, so,
the text messages will, like, here, there's pictures of like half the
right,
text
so
message, not the
some
whole
of this
thing.
is new to you.
A lot of it's new to me.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify if I understood correctly.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Do they have to request to be tabled?
No,
No.
you can make the motion to
Okay.
postpone them.
All right. I'll look for a motion to table.
Well, I'd like to make a comment after hearing the public comment, because I think it's important to have the most accurate information in front of us so that we can all have a discerned and educated conversation. And so, out of the spirit of that, I just want to make sure that we all understand, today, this is still an active construction site, as in, this is not an open business. It's still being constructed, technically speaking, by my understandings. 100%. And so, trucks that came in and out and all of that, flatbed trucks, would all be part of the construction activities, not the normal business activities anticipated for the site. So I just want to make sure that's clear. The other thing too, when it comes to stormwater, you all heard me say earlier that it's imperative that we protect our wetlands, and that's true. When it comes to stormwater management though, we should understand water will find a way to always go to its lowest point. All water ends up in some water body eventually. What our goal is, and what stormwater management's goal is to make sure that there's barriers in place that make sure that the water that's getting to those water bodies is clean and filtered. And so in the plan that was previously approved in 2024 is a stormwater detention pond with a sedimentation forebay. All that is created and designed with several layers of intention to make sure that sediment and debris from the site do not go into those water bodies. So that's already designed within the site plan that had been approved 2 years ago for this, and is either under construction, or I imagine is all done and fully operational at this point, knowing where construction's at. So I just want to make sure that's clear. We do have to allow, or at least understand, that water will find a way to a water body. Stormwater management's goal is to make sure that we are preventing any bad parts of that water from going into that water body.
Thank you, Eric. Anyone else? Oh, Brian, no? All right. I'll look for a motion then to table this till the meeting on February 9th.
I'll make a motion to table, open public hearing number 1 to February 9th.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, it passes unanimously.
Thank you.
We'll see you in February.
Yep, thank you, appreciate it.
An email.
Thank you.
for item number 4.
All right, on to public hearing number 2. Discussion of a special use site plan and environmental impact assessment. Proposed family daycare home, or daycare home, up to 14 children, located at 554 South Hughes Road, on the west side of Hughes Road, south of Golf Club Road. The request is petitioned by Jennifer Duncan. Are you Jennifer Duncan?
Good evening.
I'm Elizabeth Stowe.
All right, if you give your names and addresses so that they can make...
554 South Hughes. And I'm actually in Ypsilanti, so 8987 Parkland Drive, Ypsilanti. Elizabeth Stowe, S-T-O-W.
All right, tell us what you have.
I'm sorry, what?
Tell us what you're going to do.
Sorry, okay, so I have been a licensed child care provider for 24 years. I have done it in my home in the past. I currently have a center, and I'm selling that, so I'm looking to open a in-home at my current residence. Yeah.
All right. Let's shift over to Brian then.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Wasn't quite ready for that yet. My apologies.
Let's shift the show.
No, you're good, you're good.
We can pivot to Shelby if you want.
No, we're good, Mr. Chair. I'm making sure I got the right file. Again, I will not, because I gotta say it one more time with the next case, but again, the request before you is a special land use, so when we get to the point, presumably next month, those items, special land use, site plan, impact assessment will be before you for recommendations to the board. So that's the process that we're dealing with. I did provide a review letter based on the special use standards, as well as the use conditions applicable to group daycare homes. And I did put forth a couple of additional comments that I think are appropriate given the nature of the use. So with respect to the general special land use standards, this is another situation. So the master plan does not speak directly to anything with respect to residential care uses. So what I did in this case was put forth some excerpts from the goals and objectives. So ultimately, looking at the overall goals of the plan, if the commission feels that the proposal will uphold those, then you can make a clear finding with respect to the master plan. And then similar to our last case, with respect to compatibility and impacts, there are use conditions that apply to this particular use. They are intended to help mitigate, if not eliminate, potential off-site impacts. So as long as the use conditions are met to your satisfaction, I feel comfortable with clear findings on those items. And then lastly, anything provided by engineering and fire will need to be addressed as well, because there are a couple of standards related to infrastructure and public services. With respect to the use conditions themselves, I really just have 2 points under this particular item. The other items have been deemed to be met, at least in my opinion. The first is that your ordinance does contain a spacing requirement, so they must demonstrate that they are at least 1,500 feet away from another like use. So that'll be something we'll want to see added in your resubmittal package, just confirmation of that. And there isn't necessarily an easy way to do that, but my hope would be whomever you're working with at the state level on your license should be able to get you in the right direction on finding that information. And then the second item is related to the requirement for a fenced-in area. There is at least a portion of fencing that's noted on the plan, but I did not see a dedicated sort of outdoor play space, if you will. I mean, it's a large lot. There's plenty of outdoor play areas, but the ordinance does require a dedicated fenced-in outdoor play area of at least 1,500 square feet. So with respect, again, to follow-up submittal materials, we'll want to see that clearly depicted on your sketch plan. The other items, Mr. Chair, I had were sort of site plan related and sort of use related, but I just created a new category because I didn't have a good spot to fit them otherwise. So I created additional considerations because I felt that was appropriate. One, there are parking requirements for this use, and they are based on client and employee count. So I believe, I know you had 6 dedicated. My guess is, As the owners, your cars will probably be in a garage on site anyway, so, but I would like to see that information so we can just confirm compliance with the amount of parking required. And if you need to put a notation that, you know, there's 2 spots for the owner within the garage or something like that, then please just do that, because I think that will help cover that. And then lastly, I sort of alluded to this with respect to the 1,500-foot spacing, but a state license is required for this use. So A, I want to make sure they're aware of that, which they obviously are, as they've done this before. B, typically, at least in my experience, that state license will come subsequent to township action. And so what I would like to see moving forward is just that be a condition of any action the commission puts forward, ultimately any action that the board might take. And then subsequent to that, I always, because I don't know that it's a specific requirement that the state makes you do, but I do like to encourage that you provide a copy of that license once obtained back to the township, so then we have that for the files. And what that'll help do is, you know, if there are ever any questions in the future moving forward, if there's any license issues or if there's neighbor complaints, we have an opportunity to go back and then investigate that, make sure there is, A, is a license, and B, there are opportunities to then go directly to the state and put forth concerns, questions, comments, whatever. But it's just good record keeping to make sure that we have that on file here as well. And that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thanks, Brian. Shelby?
So for this, the house is already on, like a public sewer connection that's gravity, so we don't have any concern with like a septic system or grinder can being undersized. I did make a note that, they should confirm that the health department doesn't require, anything with the existing well capacity. And then I just made a note, it's not really a comment, but the driveway is over 300 feet long and has a turnaround. So we're not really anticipating any issue with traffic onto Hughes Road. So I just wanted to note that. And that's all I had.
Thanks, Shelby. All right, any questions or concerns up front? Guidance?
Brian, just a semantics. The reference to this is a group daycare home. Is there a difference between a group, I mean, it's all one, is there a group home and then daycare home? Or what is the application here and what are we reviewing?
So a state license, can I answer that?
Please.
So with the state license, you have family, which is like 1 to 7 children. That's just kind of what they call it. Group is 7 to 14.
Okay,
So
so
that's
it's
what
a
they call
number
it.
difference, essentially.
It could-
Okay.
Could you confirm the ages then, that would be
Or you
permitted
could be
towards?
licensed for 0 to 5 years old.
Okay.
So,
And does a license transfer, so I'm hearing, okay, so you're currently you have a business currently the same use, so you would have to
well,
apply,
it's a childcare center,
okay,
and so this will be a brand-new license.
okay, all right,
Because it's for this address, this facility.
specific to the address, okay. And how long does that take?
As soon as I get zoning approval, I'm ready to send out my application. So, I mean, since I've been in the system for so long, probably 3 months, but they say 3 to 6.
I'm just curious, what do they request from you in regards to getting?
Also, I will have like the health department out, heating, you know, all of that, those checks. They look at the setup, everything that I have, you know, our
They come out and
background checks.
physically inspect the
do.
property?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So we have to, you know, do background checks. So even though she's been with me for 20 years. So even though we've done everything, because this is a new address
Right.
and a new business, we have to do everything all over again.
Do you have to take any kind of,
We do professional development every year.
you have to take any classes, CPR, those kind of
Oh,
things?
We have that, we
Okay.
do that.
So the state has to look into all of those and say, you've got everything, you know, that you need, and we approve this and issue you the license. Thank you.
Every year, too.
Every year, so do they come back to you prior to the year to review all those things, or do you have to connect with them?
Well, so they will come out and give me my license.
Mhm.
And then they'll come out 6 months after that to make sure everything's, you know, good. And then it's every year after that. So, and then you have all the rules, so we have to continue to do professional development every year, CPR, first aid, which is every 2 years. All of the different rules that would, with licensing, so.
Okay, thank you.
I have a couple of questions. I'm looking at the Brighton Area Fire Authority, you know, they've got thou shalt and thou shalt. One of the questions is, the first question, are you still gonna use it as a residence?
I am, yeah,
Okay.
my husband and
So they do say some of these things don't apply.
I. Which I apologize, because I thought that was in my original packet, but to clarify.
The plan shows 6 dedicated parking spaces. Brian, if they are approved for the maximum 12 children by the state, what is the required parking by the township ordinance?
So the ratio of your requirement is based on what's referenced as the number of clients and the number of employees. So that is information, again, that still need to get. My best guess as to the reference to clients is more to the point of if they are taking in a brother and sister, then that's a client, so you don't necessarily need 2 dedicated spaces. You don't need a space per kid, I guess is what I'm getting at, unless,
So is it 1 per client? Is that the ordinance?
hang on one second, I'll get it for you. It is,
1 per 4
yeah, it's
clients?
1 per 4 clients,
Okay.
plus
So worst case scenario.
1 per employee.
Is 3 plus potentially for 3 staff.
One,
So
well, it'd
6,
be one staff.
One staff, because she's the other,
yeah. But
who's in the garage.
I guess I'm just saying, 6 dedicated puts you well over that.
It
In the
should.
worst case scenario, it should put you over it.
Yeah, I just wanted confirmation. It's one of those things where if there are, personally, with 12-plus kids, I think you could probably have 15 employees and not be able to manage all of them, but that's just, that's a joke, by the way.
And then, remind me of the square footage required for the outdoor play area.
1,500.
1,500. So you have a main house, total square footage of 3,000 square feet.
That's the
That's
top
2
one.
stories.
Well, no, the basement is then, it's
Is
like
also
5,000
included that.
total.
Okay.
I'm just doing the 3,000, which is
3,000's what?
where we would be, the top.
Including the
One story,
basement?
the first story only is
It's a
3,000?
bi-level, so
Okay.
where you go up like 4 or 5 steps.
Okay.
So it's that floor.
I'm just trying from a scale standpoint, looking at the drawing, understand how big this required fenced-in area is. It becomes a little bit smaller than the house, is what I'm hearing, footprint-wise. Where do you anticipate putting this fenced-in area?
So my thought is, to the left of the home where the patio is, that open space behind it, on the left, top left. I'm sorry.
Top left
Yes.
up here.
And I do have a fence.
And there's room there to put a 1,500 square foot.
Is there a door wall or something that goes out there? Is that why?
There's a door wall
Okay.
by the patio.
I mean,
So that's 90, what does that say, 92 feet to the back? So maybe that's like
Yeah.
40 feet to the trees?
I'm gonna do math.
40? 4 times 3, 30?
Would that area include the deck and patio that are
yeah.
out there?
Yeah,
No, we would do it like from the edge of the patio,
Okay.
is what I was thinking.
Okay.
Because
I
it's
mean-
a good sized site, there's area for you to do it, it's just
There's
whether
a
or not
lot
it
of
fit where
area.
you're,
Yeah.
where you're looking, whether or not it'll fit there.
be good to see that on a drawing,
Yeah,
you know?
Okay, and I
yes.
did make a note of that. but
Yeah,
I
it does
will
need to
add
be
that.
in a drawing, I feel like.
yeah.
I definitely would not do it in front,
Good.
obviously.
I don't wanna, my next comment is cement, does this meet does this plan that we see here, does it meet the,
I know what you're gonna ask.
yeah, does it meet the submittal requirements?
Majority of it does. It does not have the seal from the architect
Mm-hmm.
on it. So it is missing some items. We,
This isn't a sketch plan. I mean, it is,
Correct.
but it's not technically a sketch plan.
I,
My concern isn't for this project. My concern is, are we bending it all in our requirements for this? Does that is a precedent for us that
I
is a
tried
concern.
to stay in line with what we do when it's homeowners that do it.
Yeah,
And that is what so we kind of, I guess I could probably say the precedence has already been set.
okay.
When it's been homeowners that have done it. You know, we had one 24 or 23,
Yeah.
Miss
Okay.
Sarah Lanning, which was the same thing. So I'm trying, you know,
I know. I don't want them to spend a bunch of unnecessary money, and it would be a lot, honestly, to to do that.
correct. And it's hard to draw a fine line, especially when the state took away. I mean, the state said they can have up to 7 without
Right.
anything, so it's hard to find
Yeah.
find that balance.
So what will we look for then the next time this comes?
The fence,
Right,
and
the-
confirmation of the parking counts.
Confirmation of that and calculations of the area to confirm it?
But the fence in specific location, on that drawing, I think is necessary, cause that's in addition to your current house, right? Is there details needed on that fence? What, is there any requirements on what type of fence it is or anything like that? No?
There are not. It just
Okay.
refers to it as a fenced-in area.
Fenced-in area, that's all. No height requirement?
Nope.
Okay,
I do,
State says 48 inches or natural boundary.
that's right, yep.
I do have the parking measurements, if you needed that.
I think for tonight's exercise, since we know this is coming back, what we needed is documented.
Sounds good.
Or we're giving you your homework?
That's okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
if you don't mind, I do apologize. I did find when the house was built in 1997, did I send that to you? The site plan that we had on file for that?
You did, I did not bring it though.
That's okay.
Oh, maybe I
That-
did.
That might be something that you might be able to maybe blow up and add on to. That might make it I think more of like, I think what Eric's looking for.
So you don't think I'm an architect, that's what.
I think you did a fantastic
I
job.
would not be able to do that either, so, believe me, you did a lot better than me.
I appreciate the efforts. I think Amy's onto something. I think using that drawing as your base, adding in the features that now exist 25 years later or whatever, and putting in the
Yeah, it
fence and
still
parking, I
is,
think
but
that's
it's still
helpful.
better.
Okay.
Yeah, so I will send this over to you right
Okay,
now.
thank you.
Are those parking spots in the turnaround there currently?
Yes, we had, them put in a few months back.
I did pull in there today and turn around and
You can come see me,
I brought a
wave and.
small
pull right
car
up.
and it was still a little difficult. If I brought my truck, it would have been
The turnaround?
an issue. Well, the Expedition was parked in the turnaround
Oh, yeah, I did.
and I pulled in the little cement turnaround, which my car was fine. But if I was picking my kid up in my truck, especially if there was somebody else there, it would have been a issue.
Mr. Chair, just to that end too, one of the things that we either glossed over or didn't reference at all that I think is important as part of this consideration, they are proposing to stagger both drop-off and pickup times as well. That's part of their proposal. So I think the potential conflicts we might see there in terms of either traffic or parking or potentially blocking that turnaround from a larger vehicle, that should be mitigated to a degree as well, because we won't have all 12-plus kids showing up
Right.
at one time or being picked up at one time.
Yeah, 'cause there's no passing on that driveway.
Is that your impact, that's part of your impact assessment that you've submitted? It talks about an eye
Yes, staggered.
staggering, so we all know how parents are running on time, right? How strict is this, or how are you gonna, to Chairman Chenard's point, if there's people coming, because there's only, it's split and comes around, right? Does it come around?
It does, so it splits and come around. If you came today,
Yeah.
we were all there.
Yes,
My truck was blocking that whole
Right.
turnaround.
right.
Yeah, so you would have had to not go out, you wouldn't have been able to go out that way. So, I mean, currently, right now, I mean, between 6:30, 7 o'clock, and 8 o'clock, I mean, it's very easy to stagger families. And then the same at pickup, because you have people, if they drop off at 7, they're coming at 3:30, 3:45. I don't really see that as being that big of a problem as far as spreading people out. And then you have siblings, if there's families with siblings, that would be.
Do you find a need, or I'm looking where it says enter, do you feel that it might be good to have a sign, a directional that says enter, so people are coming in that way and exiting, out?
Yeah.
So there's a traffic,
Something included in the plan.
yeah.
I do that, I mean, verbally, my thought was like, when I tour people, I would explain how everything works in the drop-off process, but I absolutely can.
It
put
just,
sign.
because it's very heavily treed too, and if people are coming at 6 o'clock in the morning, they're not gonna see much. Might be good to have like a little reflective sign there that says enter as they're coming and veering to the right. Just from a visual and safety standpoint. And is the driveway asphalt?
It's partially asphalt, and there's cement, and then limestone.
And you would plow that? And,
We would have, my husband has someone that would do that. We have that now.
The other 7 items that the fire authority questioned here, item number 3, the driveway width is unclear, it needs to be provided a minimum of 12 feet. All of these different things right here is, you're clear with that? I mean, you're okay with complying with
I
everything?
mean, yeah, I'm fine with that. I actually was gonna get a clarification if the, 12 feet needed to be asphalt limestone, or is that, cause right now, say if someone's coming in, there's a whole area that they can be on the grass to pull over, so I didn't know if that was included in that. That was something I was gonna, I just got the fire report Friday, so I haven't been able to, really dive
Where is
into.
it? I didn't see it.
Unfortunately, we sent it as
It
soon
was-
as we received it,
Separate,
so.
it was just a
Oh.
separate email.
I have a question. The homeowner who registered a concern is at 542. In looking at the map, I just want to confirm that I'm viewing it correctly. That resident is on the other side of the heavily wooded area.
Yeah, he is,
And I just want to also confirm that the patio area where you're thinking about putting the fence is on the opposite side of, okay.
yeah, he would be in that front right corner next to that open space lot.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other discussion up front? Hearing none, I'll open this call to the public for this particular case this evening. If you've got anything to say, come on, step forward now. Okay, very quiet. All right, I'm going to bring it back up front, close that call to the public, and ask for any other discussion up front.
So it sounds like it needs to be a clarification from the fire department regarding the width, correct?
And that
Yeah,
also
I
can
think-
go onto
I
your
think
plan.
to give a list for them to go with.
Right.
I think clarification on the parking, so make sure that's a part of the packet.
With the correct sizes, right?
Yeah, using the plan that Amy's provided as a base drawing for the sketch plan that you've provided. And that needs to include the 1,500 square foot area for the fencing too. So dimensions of that fencing to assure that's 1,500 square feet will be necessary. And whatever the fire department. So it sounds like you'll have to talk to the fire department and see how you meet their requirements.
And I will make sure that,
And a clean letter, like resubmittal to them and a clean letter would be the ideal thing for us to approve.
Just one question. Brian, I'm scrambling here. That 1,500 feet, is that like enclosed? Like it's got a door to get into it, out of it?
So the reference is fenced in area, so, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to return like at the house or anything. It could just be a fence enclosure within the open space, but it needs to be fully enclosed. So it'll have to have a gate somewhere or return at the building so that there's, you know, so that it's completely enclosed and, kids can't just freely walk out of it, if that makes sense.
And it has to meet the ordinance fencing setback requirements and height.
Anything else? All right. Any questions from the applicant on what we've discussed as far as need for the, with the drawing?
I think I'm good.
Good, good. That's our goal.
Thank you.
All right. Look for motion.
I'll make a motion for open public hearing number 2 to
Table.
thank you. Table this to the next meeting, February 9th.
Support.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, hearing none, passes unanimously. We'll see you in a month.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I sent that site plan to you already.
Okay, thanks.
All right, on to number 3. On to public hearing number 3, discussion of a special use site plan and environmental impact assessment for a proposed indoor dog park, cafe, or coffee shop and bakery. The property is located in an existing Country Corners Shopping Center at 4060 Grand River Avenue on the southeast corner of Grand River and Ladson Road. Would the applicant please come forward? If you would state your name and your address for the record.
Stacy Phillips, 822 Old Cluster Court in Howell.
I'm John Eckstein, architect with Lindout Associates. Our address is 10465 Citation Drive, Brighton, Michigan.
Thank you. And what do you have for us tonight? Show us the plan.
Want to describe what you're doing here?
Sure. So the plan is to have an indoor dog park. 4060 is the old Eternity Brews. We're going to block off half of that. That'll be the indoor dog park. The other side will be the bakery and the coffee bar. We'll have coffee, baked goods, things for the dogs, dog treats, and dirty sodas, Italian sodas, things like that. And then on the other side, we'll have the dog area. It will be separated between, you know, the dogs that are maybe a little more active and the dogs that are a little more laid back. And then hopefully in the spring, we can enjoy the outside area too.
All right. You've got some plans to show us what you're doing?
I think some of the concerns in the letter, I brought some pictures and did some graphics that could probably help
Great.
describe once the questions come up.
All right, let's see them.
Well, sure.
All right, great.
So, some of the questions that came up, the concerns, was you call out define what the turfed area is, and it's actually just, it's mulching grass right now, and it'll be returned to just natural grass. So that defines that.
Is that where the green is?
Pardon,
Is that where the green is?
Correct.
Okay.
And so, and then the fenced-in area as well, I brought photos of the existing, and it is a contained area, you can see. Now, there could be some upgrades to that, but beyond, there's also a retaining wall. And so some of the other concerns were, you know, it said you have to have a certain height masonry wall, but the way this is situated is, the main concern would be the residence that's in this area. And so just the nature of the building itself will contain the sound of any dogs that are on the outside. And the pink areas actually are also the fenced area, and then there's this retaining wall that's over here. So that was kind of just something that we saw in the report that we received Friday.
Right.
And so we just wanted to depict this today before the meeting.
One question I would have is, if it's natural, you're going to have a difficulty keeping it up because there's going to be a lot of dogs and and everything that comes with it. We have seen in the past on facilities similar, where they'll get a, for lack of a better term, a prescription turf that goes in and drains itself, and you can basically spray it down, and it's cleaned up every night, so that you don't have to worry about it. Like I say, natural grass would just disintegrate, basically.
Yeah, the landlord's gonna supply a hose and everything. I did go to a couple other locations that had the turf, and the smell was very strong. So my hope is to keep it as grass, but if that's what I need to do, then I'd certainly reevaluate.
And my concern is that it could be dirt in that very long time, from any number of things, because they rake the grounds with their paws after they're done, and just the chemical reaction of everything that goes on, so, okay.
I'm fine with the turf.
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the business model, so my questions are gonna be a little elementary here.
Glad you're asking.
But the dogs are in the cafe then too? Or is there, yeah, talk to me about the interaction there.
Yeah, so they will be separated because obviously health code and everything, we don't want the dogs where the food is.
Yeah.
But there will be a soundproof wall there between the two. They can go back and forth, so you can get your coffee and go play with the dogs, or.
But you have to go on the other side of that soundproof wall to play with the dogs.
Yes.
Okay. Now, can the dogs go outside with you? Obviously, they can go outside with your food at that point too.
Yes.
Okay.
But my plan is to have them, so in the park, they would be off-leash. Outside, I would prefer that they be leash on, just because we don't have, I'm just concerned about
Yeah.
parking lot and road and everything there.
So there's no plan to fence that, or there is?
There is a plan to fence that.
Okay.
Defense the pinks,
I don't see it on
the
the site
pink
plan.
part?
Yes. So
So
the
the-
pink lines on that is fence.
And there is an existing barricade.
Oh, that's there. Okay.
But is it there at the corner, at the front,
It's on the two
or just on the
sides.
back?
So this is the existing building.
Yep.
The existing building, and these are the existing barricaded areas, the pink.
But the one barricade is just, according to Google Maps, is just some arborvitae and some, like,
Potted
potted
plants.
plants, right?
Yeah.
Well, you can see.
I'm sorry, I can't see that far, I'm getting older. Would
Yeah.
you mind, please? Thank you so much.
You bet.
Old Eric.
I
And
know.
we're looking for potential.
Okay,
areas.
so that's there, that's
Yeah.
helpful, okay.
So that,
And would you put a door where that,
so there's
there is a
the
door
trellis
there?
work there,
Okay.
so there's access. And so that goes out to the parking lot.
Is there a door there now or not? On that trellis?
No.
No. Would there
But
be?
this is a leashed area. Where the dogs are free to roam inside in the play area,
Okay,
but this is a leashed area.
okay.
And then this is this area here, which also is, the barricade. And you can see beyond, there is a large
Gotcha,
retaining
so
wall
this
that
is
will
like it.
actually
Okay.
help with
Okay,
sound as well.
okay, thank you, that's helpful.
No, when you say leashed, that means people are going to be with the dogs on a leash out there, correct?
So there's two different ways that you can utilize the dog park. There's the membership, where you could come with your dog and let your dog play, or, take them outside and have them on a leash. Or there's dog daycare as an option, which they would be dropping off the dog and picking them up.
So I guess I'm more concerned about the outside area, where they have the option of being off a leash? Is that what you said?
Outside, no, they would be
Okay.
a leash on outside.
Thank you, that's always on a leash outside,
Yes.
okay.
If I'm understanding the photos correctly, you're 2 doors away from having a fully enclosed space. Right?
Yes.
Is there a consideration just to fully enclose this? Maybe still have it leashed, but like, as our first item, secondary containment?
But we'll be putting in a fence. It'll be
Okay.
fenced.
Okay, so we can, all right. I think it would be helpful, since I know we're discussing this tonight, to have that on the plans. Because I don't see that right now, unless I'm missing it, but I don't see that specifically on the plans, that that is in a fully enclosed area. And I think that'd be helpful to a potential,
They're shown, but you're correct, it could be enhanced better on the next mission.
thank you.
Tell me where you have witnessed or seen this model before and how successful it is. My concern is, it would appear to me that it would be more suitable in a standalone building where it's just by itself, with adjoining businesses and animals and outside animals and noise.
I mean, and that's possible. The models that I've seen two in Boston, one in, here in Michigan. There's one, in Comstock that I visited. There's also, they just put one in Southfield that I'm gonna take a look at this weekend. So those are standalone. The ones in Boston are, I mean, they're standalone, but I mean, they're that far
Yeah.
from the other buildings. 'Cause
Yes.
It's Boston, but yeah.
And what would your hours of operation be?
7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
And did I see something in here as far as in the future you would want to do like overnight stays in here?
No,
Okay.
So there's no overnight stays.
no overnight.
So you come in, use the dog park, interior, exterior, get a coffee or a bakery or a fancy soda, and then you're done. What's your hours of operation?
7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Okay.
Did I see that your future plan is to get a liquor license?
I'm hoping, but that's down the road.
Hey!
Yeah. Everything all in one building.
And the hours are still 7 PM?
Yes.
There you go.
My dog gave up drinking.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find it again. I don't recall seeing it when I looked at it a couple nights ago, but what property is to the east of you? What's the lease, the tenant to the east? What's the business?
To the east would be,
Is that the smoke shop? No, the
well,
smoke.
right now
O'Reilly.
it's vacant. My understanding is that a gym is going in there, which is fine. They'll be just as loud and we can,
Right, and the mattress store's on the opposite
The
side.
mattress is, yeah, it's not actually connected. It's in front of.
Then behind you, where the lattice is, isn't that where the parking
Apartments?
area is between the auto parts store and the car wash? So there's really nothing behind the latticed area?
No, there's just a drive.
An access for them to get back there for parking and garbage.
So, I mean, I gotta tell you, I love the idea. I think it's just brilliant. I just love the idea. I don't like the location.
Yeah.
You know, the location in between, sandwiched between two buildings, you know, in a commercial area where people are coming, going all day, just from taking your dog from the building to the parking lot, to me, could be, not necessarily for you, but the people that are coming and going, because not many people have control of their pets like we'd like to think they do, especially on a very busy road. So that's my initial concern from just a smell and noise standpoint for the commercial people that are surrounding you. That's the only thing, I mean, I love the idea. I again wonder if that's really the best location. Haven't wrapped my head around it yet. I'm trying to do that. Because I suspect that the dogs, if the dogs are on the leash, the dogs aren't in the outside area really to,
Run.
right, to
And
run,
get
maybe to go to
exercise.
the bathroom, because some dogs won't go to the bathroom indoors because they've been trained not to. That's probably, so my thought is the main reason they're going to go outside is to go to the bathroom, because most of them are trained not to do it indoors. So the outside area is gonna be the main area where they're going, you know, to urinate, defecate, and, lovely. That's the only thing I worry about.
Yeah. I understand your concerns. I remember conversations with Dogtown and Kitty City.
Kitty City.
What has been the result of that going in? Have you received any complaints or anything from, okay,
No, I know that she is really busy,
really, really busy?
which
Yeah.
is great. You know, you want to hear that
Yep.
for someone in her
Oh, I'm not
Those
familiar.
duplexes behind there, just based off their photos, seem half the distance to the apartments that are behind here. I also appreciate that much of this business is interior, and the exterior activities are out front. I actually can't think of I hear what you're saying about location, but I actually can't think of a better location either in the community at large. And I do worry personally a bit about that whole, it's Country Corners, right? I do consider Country Corners, now that things have been fixed up down the way with Hobby Lobby in that whole area, I do consider Country Corners to probably be one of our more at-risk commercial areas in the community, and seeing tenant-wise it full, I think, is a benefit to the community at large. I think there should be an emphasis on making sure that the infrastructure we have in place and the commercial properties we have in place, that we, as best we can, influence those to be very healthy, very strong for the community. And that new development, we like really zero in on and understand if that's right for our community or not. But existing development and refurbishing that and making sure that's vibrant and strong, I think is important to the overall community. And so based off what I hear, I think it's a unique business model. I don't have dogs, so it's new to me, but I think it's a unique business model. And I think largely a lot of the questions have been, and from my standpoint, have been answered, so.
You don't have to have a dog to visit, you can just go pet it.
Okay.
Dirty, was it dirty pop or dirty soda?
Yeah.
I mean, I think the firewall and then the kitchen and then the soundproof wall
Yeah, there's
really
a-
helps a lot too.
There's a whole area on the soundproofing and what's or what is expected, and if all those things are taken care of, then you'll meet the sound ordinance. So are you ready to do all that?
Yes.
Okay.
Where's the landlord willing to do that?
Yes.
Tenant improvement, yeah.
That corner's pretty slow too in the parking lot.
It is,
I don't know if you've ever bought a mattress there, but it's a pretty slow corner. There's nobody over there.
yeah. I'm a big spender of Great Clips, so.
Is the mattress store aware of what you're thinking about doing there?
Yes.
And they support it?
Yes.
Okay.
They might provide, you know. some
I totally love the idea. I'm serious. I don't have dogs anymore, but I love the idea, you know, especially for a lot of the, and I think in some ways the location is good from the perspective of where you're at, because there's so many, that apartment building there and the condos there. They don't have a lot of place for those dogs. They just walk them. So they have a lot for them to socialize, whether they would pay a membership to be part of that or not, I don't know, but you know, that's my only concern is the smell for the patrons and the neighbors and all that. And so, you know, I suspect that would probably be addressed if there's a lot of complaints. But I love the idea.
We would be very diligent about that. We don't, you know, people are gonna be out there too. We don't want them trying to have a coffee and, you know, stench is
Certainly.
growing.
All right. Brian, have I let you talk yet?
This evening or on this
Yeah.
case?
On this case?
You have not, Mr. Chair.
All right, go right ahead.
Thank you very much. I am patiently listening, and the questions and the dialogue have been great and have actually at least started to, if not addressed, some of my points. So, again, I'll try to keep this brief procedurally. This is a special land use. You all know what that entails now. Hopefully, the applicant was paying attention with the previous two cases. We'll move forward with recommendations potentially as soon as next month when we are able to. So, with respect to those special land use standards, I really, nothing jumped out at me as a major issue. I will rely on compatibility standard as it relates to the use condition. So I want to make sure commission's satisfied with that. All of those use conditions, and for this use, there are a lot. Those are all intended to help ensure compatibility and prevent potential off-site impacts. So if those are ultimately met to your satisfaction, I feel pretty good about the general special land use standards, and of course, anything engineering or fire has to offer with respect to services and infrastructure. Diving into those use conditions, a couple of these are pretty minor items. A couple may warrant some additional discussion. So between some of the different submittal materials, there is a bit of a discrepancy in the hours of operation. I'd just like to see that corrected for clarification. I think the application form and the impact assessment had 2 different times noted. There is, on the plan itself, there is a discrepancy in terms of the, I guess for lack of a better phrase, what I'll call the dog occupancy in this particular case. The ordinance does limit them to 1 dog per 100 square feet of gross floor area. The notation on the plan showed just over 2,300 square feet of floor area, but noted a maximum capacity of 25 dogs. So that was just slightly out of whack with what would be allowed. That being said, there is a statement which I'm not really sure what to do with, other than I believe the planning commission does have some discretion to grant those 2 extra dogs. The phrase is essentially 1 pet per 100 square feet, which is subject to discretionary review by the planning commission. So the verbiage is a little strange. All I can take from that is theoretically, commission could grant them the 2 extra dogs if you saw fit. So, but I'd like to get some clarification on that. Again, I think the applicant would too, just so we can make sure the plans are clean.
The size limitations.
So, we did talk a little bit, so the outdoor play area, the ordinance requires that it be enclosed with a 6-foot masonry wall, or if not masonry, then another material aesthetically compatible in terms of material, color, finish with the principal and surrounding buildings. So this does not provide that. As we've noted and discussed, as I understand it, I think 2 of the 4 sides are technically masonry because they're the buildings. I think it's those 2 end sides, if you will, where we either need to have some more dialogue or bring that to a conclusion to ensure that that's met as well. Understanding there's this is like a wood fence / lattice structure on the one side. Technically, you know, I guess I would leave that back to the commission and understand that if you think that that material, color, finish is aesthetically compatible, then you could allow that instead of straight masonry.
Do you mind if we talk about that a second?
Please.
What do you believe the intent of a masonry wall to be?
I think probably noise is the only thing I can think of why you would need masonry instead of open fencing.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, the 6-foot thing, I think, is intended essentially depending on what types of dogs are in there. A dog can't jump out potentially at 6 feet. I think that's probably why it was bumped from 4 to 6. But in terms of the materials and the compatibility, I don't know why it was written as masonry, but I do think there is some leeway in there if commission is comfortable with what they're proposing.
I believe what I saw tonight in the photos, with some added gates, meets the intent. And I don't think that noise is gonna be any different with what's on those photos versus a masonry wall. In fact, I could probably make a short argument that a masonry wall will actually reflect sound and
Yeah,
echo.
and be more
Yeah.
echoey. That's what
Yeah.
I was thinking, that
Yeah.
keeping it open would be better.
Yeah, in the absence of landscaping, it's just gonna echo,
You
Yeah, I think
also
as
need
long
some
as-
airflow.
Yeah,
There'll be
yeah,
some
airflow is
stagnant
actually,
air in there.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think to that end, it sounds like commission's okay with that for your understanding moving forward. I do think though we need to reconcile what we've seen here tonight with what we're presented with on that plan. So just
Sure.
need to.
Update the site plan.
Yeah, I need to make sure it's a little clearer, because I did make note, there is reference to fencing in the written portion of the submittal, but I wasn't able to clearly identify actual fencing on the
It's
plan
a-
itself. But
Understood.
I think it's
And it
there,
will be
it just maybe isn't said. It
The line
doesn't-
type is not
Fair enough.
shown
Is,
as well as it could be.
is there an access, there's an access door that would go out to there on the,
Yes, there
down
is an
here,
existing
and that's the
door.
only one?
Correct.
Would the fire department have any issues with closing off the other end, a gate there?
We would still maintain the required amount of egress inside the building to the outside. There's still enough exits.
But they wouldn't require anything on the outside?
Well,
Because you've
you
got-
would have gates on the fences.
Just on this end, because the other one the other one doesn't need one, right? Just-
Occupant load would depict probably 2.
One on each end. Any other?
I just have a couple more, Mr. Chair.
All right.
Sorry. You gave me the floor, I'm gonna take advantage. We've covered the surfacing, so I think that was good, I appreciate that. If it's gonna be grass, identify it on the plan, or,
I'm skeptical that grass is gonna work there. I imagine the reason it's mulch now is because it gets no sunlight. There's no sunlight, and that's a south, if you look south, that shadow's there almost all year, all along. I think you have to plan from the start for some sort of synthetic grass material.
Yeah, and no irrigation either,
Yeah,
just a hose.
but
All right, how about
Very
Shelby?
close, Mr. Chair.
Are you done?
So there is,
yeah, right.
there is another one, and again, this is one for at least our discussion here tonight. I'd like to maybe get some input from the commission as to your thoughts. I think you can read this a couple of different ways. So there is a requirement for some outside agency approvals as part of the request. Specifically noted in the ordinance are the utility authority, drain commissioner, and health department. And the phrasing is that those approvals shall be provided as part of the special land use application. I think on the one hand, I think at least my initial read was I think that says that that should be provided as, they should already have it and it should be part of the submittal, though I'm not sure how reasonable that is, because the typical process is we go through the township approvals, and subsequent to that, then they obtain their outside agency approvals. But I think so, if nothing else, if commission feels that they should have to have that as part of this process, that's one conversation. If it's subsequent to, then we'll have it as or I will encourage you to include that as a condition, and then that's something petitioner will have to do. But again, just because of the verbiage, and I'm not sure if the last go-around we had with this, I'm not sure if we used these same standards or if these were written after the last dog daycare pet boarding we had. But anyway, I wanted to bring that up because I think there's two different ways to read that.
Did we have one over next door to Kills, or the
Right. The
the
karate people.
guy? There was one there,
Right, and they had a little outdoor space too.
yep.
Yeah, I guess my point was, I'm not sure if that went in before all of these standards were changed.
Do we have leeway to make that upon land use permit?
I think so. I just wanted, again, I brought it up because I think my first read when I went through it was that these were somehow supposed to be done in advance. I think the more reasonable, logical read is that it should be a part of the process. And typically, those items are subsequent to township approvals.
I don't even know what other permits they would need. They're not making utility changes. There's no change to the impervious area, so there's no drain commissioner requirements
Health
here.
Department.
Health department.
Health department is always required for, but yeah, but I mean,
They've got a-
that's prior to building
They've
code.
got a
at that
bakery
point.
and they've got,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of building code, not even zoning though.
Yeah,
So it's like you're not even submitting for building yet.
You
No,
can't, you can't
right.
even submit for any building permit until you have health department and drainage approval.
Right.
Or a waiver or permit or anything, you can't even submit.
But from a
for anything.
sequencing standpoint, we're first. Why would you
Right.
why would you go and get those things until you know that your use meets the requirements?
It's sort of the point, which again is why I wanted to bring it up for our discussion tonight. So I think that's pretty clear. And then the closing comment I had, Mr. Chair, was simply that, based on my review, I did feel all the information necessary was provided. There's a lot of things, as I mentioned, under your use conditions, from the operational management to how they're gonna handle waste, how they're gonna handle cleaning, how they're gonna handle, loud barking dogs or noise, essentially. So I really, all of that is in here at least somewhere. And I think it's complete and accurate, but there is a provision, the last statement is simply that, if there's other information the commission deems necessary to sort of bring this to a conclusion, now would be the time to ask for that, if there's other items you can think of that haven't been discussed or aren't covered in the submittal. And that's all I have.
thanks, Brian. Shelby.
I didn't have anything on this one. There is not any significant changes to the site plan, and it's generally the use is really similar to what it used to be, so no impact to utilities or traffic. So,
Thank you, Shelby. And the fire says that fire authority has no objection to the proposed special use. Okay,
Mr. Chair,
yes.
I was looking, Dogtown, Kitty City, we did make it a condition that it was land use. The outside agencies
Okay.
should be submitted prior to land use
That's
permit
very helpful.
issuance. And I also wanted to note that when we mail out 300 letters, granted, it was a day late this time, they are also mailed to all the occupants
Wow.
of that center. So everybody that's next door, the mattress company, everybody in there did receive a notice.
All right, with that, why don't we call to the public and see if there's anyone else that would like to speak on this issue?
I'm sorry, I didn't see you standing. Denise Policella, 4200 Sweet Road. This is an awesome idea. I love it. Thank you. It's not a data center, it's not a car wash, it's not a gas station, it's not a big box store, it's not a chain, and it's here. So thank you. I'll do whatever I can to help you. Also, you put a bar in there, every guy in Brighton with his dogs is gonna go there. So you're gonna have a lot of customers, I don't care what we have to do, and I have had dogs my whole life. I don't currently, sadly enough. I'm converted to cats. But I've had dogs my whole life. Took them to daycare, starting with my very first dog. They're not quite as noisy and smelly as everybody keeps thinking they are. I mean, and I've been to a lot of different ones. I really don't remember ever going into the lobby of a dog care center, even, all of them here, and thinking any of those things. Barking, yeah, a little bit, but not as much as people think. And you really can't hear the dogs from outside the facility, even when they have a dog run. So I just don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. Amen. Thank you. Very, very good job.
Would anyone else like to step?
One other person, Jeff Dehanens, 5494 Sharp Drive. In regards to the business model, I cannot wait to go back to Stevensville, Michigan. In downtown Stevensville, they have a brew pub with food trucks out front, fire pits on the lawn, and all dogs are welcome in and out of that building. It's phenomenal. If you don't like dogs, you're just not gonna go. You're not gonna get your coffee, you're not gonna get your bakery. The people who take their dogs to daycare typically aren't the dogs that fight, they aren't the dogs that bark a whole lot, they're very social dogs. This is an outstanding project. I hope it goes. And yes, the longer you could keep the hours and serve other things, you would have a lot more people in there too. So, not a concern on the noise, not a concern on the smell. If you're either a dog person or you're not a dog person. So, very cool idea.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to come forward? All right, seeing none, we'll close the call to the public, and I'll bring it back up front for any other further discussion or a motion.
I have two more questions out of curiosity. This is just like really got me curious. I've never seen anything like this. So, when I was looking at your operating procedures and your business plan, I have really kind of two questions. First, this is just has nothing to do with that really as much as, what is the floor for the dogs where they run? How's that gonna be built out?
Yeah, that's a good question. So right now, it's concrete.
Right.
So my goal is to put epoxy over it, not the smooth kind of, the kind that has some, grit to it so that the dogs don't fall or anything like that. But I want to seal that concrete so that in case there are accidents, it doesn't seep into the concrete.
So it's not an AstroTurf or anything like that, it's just all cement?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then my other question is, you note in there that the food and beverage area is off limits to the dogs.
Mm-hmm.
So how do the people who bring their dogs there get food and beverage? If the dogs can't go there, do they leave their dogs alone somewhere?
They can have a staff member kind of keep an eye on their dog if it's not dog daycare, and then go over and get something. I do need to check with the health department because there would be an opportunity to put a window there over by the cash register to go back and forth. But I don't know if the health
between
department would be okay with it. So that's kind of something that I'm trying to.
Yeah, because I would think that would limit your opportunity to get ancillary income through the dining area. Okay, I was just curious, because it seemed kind of counterintuitive a little bit. All right, thank you.
Yeah, I think I'd just like to give the petitioner, maybe what I heard at least, of a rundown of things to come in with next time. So, you know, from our standpoint, it seems as though the use there's a general understanding that it meets the intent of the ordinance. So that's great news. On the exterior then, specifically making sure that the fencing is completely enclosed, but what's there now and the style of that seems to meet the intent of the ordinance. And then materials for that as well. Right now it's wood chips, but obviously you guys are looking into some sort of synthetic lawn material for that. I think that'd be beneficial too. Just so you're not surprised by it. Any signage too would be a separate permit through our sign ordinance as well, so that'd be an additional thing. And then I would be supportive too that all those other requirements from building, drain office, health department, all those would be issued just prior to land use permit, but not prior to us approving this, so. Did I miss anything?
Mr. Chair, could I just hit one point? How do we feel about the dog capacity? The occupancy load for dogs, if you will.
Is that a,
So again,
How did you come about
it's
that
1 per
number?
100 is noted in
Yeah.
the ordinance. They have just over 2,300
We're
square
gonna
feet.
reduce it to 23.
All right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just
That's an easy way to
makes it easy.
There you go.
So yeah, fence, turf.
I don't think they're all like Newfoundlands or something, you know?
I'm just applying the ordinance.
23 newbies, yeah.
All right, anything else discussion-wise? Hearing none, I'll look for a motion.
I'll make a motion for open public hearing number 3 to table this until the next meeting of February 9th.
Or,
Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, it passes. Congratulations.
Doesn't pass.
Well, does it
Table.
fall?
Oh, well,
Yeah.
it passes to February.
Passes to next one.
In terms of procedure, Amy, should we just talk about that? Can I
I will
interrupt?
send you an email tomorrow that will say when you need
Mr.
to have
Chair.
your resubmittal in
Can we
by,
take a 5-minute
to
break?
give Brian time to review it.
Okay, it's pretty minor. Is this planning commission on the 9th and special land use all in one?
It's a special land use is a recommendation, and then you have to go to the township board. But because of my mistake, the township board will be the Monday after that meeting.
Okay.
So instead of having to wait, so this delayed you 2 weeks. So instead of having to wait until the first meeting in March, this will go to the second board meeting in February.
There'll be 3 motions: special land use, site plan, and the impact assessment.
That's all on the 9th, and then,
Yes.
then it goes to board the week after.
Yes. Yep. As long as you get approvals, recommendations on the 9th.
As long, right,
Yes.
as long as all goes well.
All right.
Thank you.
Before we go into open hearing number 4, I think we should take a little break here. It's 25 after 8. Why don't we make it 25 to 9?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Is your kitchen done yet?
Yeah, I guess, I told you
You told me you're doing it.
I'm sorry.
we gutted the whole first floor. Or we're doing the whole first floor.
Oh my God.
So, we might be doing houses on it. In 10 years, we're $300,000
Yeah.
Because you know, I mean, like right now, the cost of buying a 20,000 square feet is kind of. little walk-in closet with a washer and dryer. My bathroom the size of my living room.
Yeah.
So I was, so I did fool not to use it, but, yeah, we did the analysis, we determined cabinets, demolition starts. In February, but that room that you're talking about, we're taking all the cabinets out.
Okay.
The whole back wall.
Yeah.
And opening up and putting a 6-foot window in that.
Oh, that'll be beautiful.
Yeah.
Nice, way to go.
So we're gonna do it, but it's so funny, I'm like, I thought I told you that we were redoing it, but.
You told me we were gonna change the kitchen, that was all.
But it's like, we're redoing it, it's like, that's a quarter million dollar project. I totally, that's, I can't predict $50,000 kitchen.
That's
Yeah, exactly.
Talking about that addition I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
We just had a mini split put in
Yeah.
for the downstairs and upstairs to supplement what we had already. And I've got 2 more openings in that split, so I can put another 1 or 2, whatever I want to do in that front addition. They're both on the same side where you would put them.
So what did you have before, baseboard or something?
We've got baseboard, but we don't have enough baseboards. Because you got a room, you've got to put furniture into it, you can't leave it open.
Yeah.
And if you don't leave it at least open a little bit, you don't get the full benefit. If everything was pulled away from the walls and it was free, it's still not enough. You know, we've got to,
And no AC is a bummer too, so that helps.
well, yeah, so the split helped with that.
Yeah.
We used to have a 15,000
Hey Eric, do you have any pets?
BTU all the way up to the top floor, my 3rd floor. It would trickle down, but it died. So we decided the split was a better idea.
Yeah, much better.
Yeah. So, had that in for about 6 months now. Works. We got the really cold weather. It had really made a difference.
Oh, yeah. How was the electric bill with it? So I think they're pretty cheap until you get to like that sub-Z.
The hard thing is to look at ours to understand because we have a hot tub that we heat all winter too. So it is what it is.
Yeah, we just went from electric heat in my garage to forced air.
And then what?
Oh, it's so much better. So much better.
Cool. after the remodel we got our house. But the way it's set up right now, if you look down at the floor plan, it's basically like this, and you got a porch that comes off the front of this Hanover gable, okay? This is a porch right now, so the roof and everything will come off of that, and it's 24 feet
Hey, I meant to
side
ask
to side here.
doing
I
that
wanna go
daily reading for the
As much as
Bible,
I can this way.
is there like a follow-up? You do stuff online to respond to it?
So are you?
You know, for the readings that you're doing, is there something else that you can, other than just reading those
Well,
things? Is there
that's-
something
that's the
online
thing
that
that's gonna be
you do
interesting.
with
I gotta
groups
look
to
at it
like
again, but-
have discussions or anything?
Dave and
You know?
Betty,
Run
which are
it.
to my
Oh,
Okay.
Nope.
east,
No, it's just that.
are behind me slightly, okay? I'm not asking to go any further than we're already out.
I've,
Did you start it?
yeah, yeah, I really enjoy that.
There, it's pretty.
Yep,
See the-
and it's
the house I was referring to,
so
when they got it all staked out, 'cause
curious
they
how
built
that
it
works.
25 years ago.
because the
Stakes were
things
all
that I,
10,
you know,
12
the
feet
last couple
in front
readings
of
that I've been reading
the back.
have been appropriate in situations where I've had people say to me things
Next
about
door on the other side,
parents,
sure,
about
it's not really a
about
concern
ethics,
because,
about, you know, I was
yeah, I'm probably about even with where she's at right now. So
Not funny, it's crazy.
like, yeah, yes,
Yeah.
gotten moments.
Yeah, for sure.
Tree too.
I'm,
I mean, a big,
I leave next week. I'm going to India.
under the,
With, like, church planners who
it's that time of year. I mean, if it's spring, it's probably gonna be a little bit wet. I've got, 3 sump pumps and 2 dehumidifiers in my base, trying to crawl space.
So you were in the plug zone, you're probably not now, though.
We were never in.
Oh, wow.
You know, just lower.
Yeah, so,
I saw that.
I've been-
Underground? Really?
yeah, so I actually had to.
One time you used to go.
We got to get a mortgage, then we're gonna fill this. Turn the water, turn the water.
Make sure there's not, like, things are being occasional, just to get into some of the states.
So we're building the house. In the bar right now, with the dam in.
How did you get to do this?
Yeah, so, so there's a organization in Grand Rapids, it's called Mission India.
Consideration of an ordinance amendment to Article 13 entitled Environmental Protection Regulation related to hazardous materials and fuel storage and wetland protection standards. And I think Amy's gonna be our petitioner, right?
Yes. So in regards to the fuel storage, I took back and made some changes per our last meeting, that was forever ago. And the one change that I wanted to talk about was, I believe, Commissioner Rock said that he would like to see one 1,000-gallon tank. So I was talking to, you know, different business owners, and there are some times where they need gasoline and diesel. So that's why I was like, all right, maybe we'll leave it at the 2 500-gallon. And then if we want, we can do, let me get to it, sorry. And then we could do the, or one, you know, you could have 2 500s or one 1,000. So I just didn't want Commissioner Rock to think that I
Appreciate that.
ignored him.
I've never thought that.
I didn't want you to think I ignored you, because I did
Yeah,
not.
we never ignore what's his name over here.
And in regards to the wetlands, I did put some sign standards in there. I think that was Commissioner Rybert. The one thing that was brought to my attention is I put the sign 1 foot by 1 foot. I did not put like a height, like a max height of the sign. Do we want 4 foot? Do we want 6 foot? Do we want 2 foot, 3 foot? You know, sometimes these are gonna be in people's backyards. And I still wanna be cognizant of that, but I also think it's extremely important to have those to protect the wetlands. So I wanted to get the commissioner's thoughts on those, on what height they think it should be. And I think this area wasn't that.
Amy, would it be best as we go through each area to discuss and talk, or to kind of,
Absolutely. Yeah,
okay?
we can do that. I
Um,
love that idea.
Open to other opinions on this, just wanted to share my thought process at least. When it comes to the above-ground tanks, I think what we're talking about here is how do we mitigate risk ultimately? Here's my thought process, and I don't know if it's accurate, so I'm looking for feedback. But the size, as in the number of gallons of these, I don't think plays a big, like, risk. I don't think it changes the risk much. I think the points of risk here are the quality of the actual tanks, the connections of hoses and those types of things. Like, that's where you really will see failure, I feel like, is in those, like, components. The double wall, I'm starting to understand better from the more older styles of containment. That's helpful. From our conversation earlier, was helpful to me in that. And so personally, I'm not looking too much at the size of these tanks, but I'm willing to have more information to discern that differently. I think for me, when I look at the changes in red, specifically the 13.0701, the above ground storage tanks, I think the big thing here is distance to other property lines, distance to other buildings, and certainly distance to bodies of waters and wetlands. The more distance we have there, the more likely the probability of, God forbid there is some sort of contamination, that it won't reach that. Distance is the best. There's other barrier systems too, but like, to me, I think that is important. And I would argue probably significantly limits the number of industrial sites we actually have that could even have an above ground tank because of those much higher thresholds of offsets. So to me, I think that's important. This would create a non-conformity then with Michigan Recreational, I believe.
Yes.
I just want to make sure that's clear, that just a couple years ago, we did approve one, and these new distances would create a non-conformity there. And yeah, frankly, I'm okay with that. I think being a little bit more strict on this is okay. That's my current thought process. Again, I'm no expert on above ground tanks or anything, just kind of learning with you all, so open to conversation about it, but that's kind of where my thought is on that.
I thought we had some direction from Corrigan at one point in time, because they generally have the majority of these tanks accessible. Is there anything of record regarding safety concerns? Is this a standard that is?
I do have that. Corrigan actually, the gentleman there at Corrigan is actually the one whose diagram is in the state of Michigan's book regulating these.
Okay.
I do have that information. Unfortunately, it's at my desk. But yes, I've been in contact with Corrigan. I've also been in contact with the fire department, who is the agency that will be inspecting these. So they also go off of the state standards. So I have been looking at those, and we are more strict than the state setbacks, which we can be in this regard.
Right.
For these.
But in regards to size, usage, I mean, farms use them, right?
And the
So-
state preempts us on that,
Right.
on the farms.
Preempts us on that, like the
Well-
Right to Farm Act allows them to have it,
Yes.
got it.
Yes.
I personally think multiple smaller tanks, because when I think of a catastrophe, somebody runs a forklift through it, you're one and double wall tank,
Right.
nothing for you. And I would rather have them puncture a 250-gallon tank than a 1,000-gallon tank.
Yeah.
So in that respect, I guess, but you're right, connections, hoses, valves, fueling, unfueling, you have one port versus multiple ports where that could happen.
And that is why, that's why the change was requested, but then I was like, then somebody brought up 2 different types of fuel. So.
Right,
yeah.
yes.
Well, and each unit's gonna be protected by, 4-inch steel posts that are around the outside of it, within 4 feet of each other, that type of thing. So what can back through 4 feet becomes much less than what we are talking about, you know. You might get a small high-low through there, but you'd have to really be trying, so.
Amy, do you recall regarding when they do fueling? I imagine they don't inspect it every time they fuel, but are there 6 months? Is it a year that they have to for inspections? Do you have to call for inspection?
That I do not know.
Wonder if it's similar to like gas pumps and that type of thing,
Correct. I know that's handled all through the state.
right?
Have we ever had a 1,000-gallon tank approved? To your knowledge?
We might have.
I mean, I don't
that
remember one.
Wonderland, Wilson Marine has them. There's,
So there has been some.
Yeah,
yeah,
we're talking years
we
and
have
years
quite
ago.
a few around here.
Okay.
Yes, in our industrial sites.
Is there a record of them that,
I'd have to go back and look at all the special uses that we have, but we can make a record of them.
might be good if we're changing the ordinance,
Yeah.
just to have an inventory.
I can also
trying to
check
get an
with the
idea of
fire
size
department,
there.
'cause I know the fire department will
Right.
have a
I
list
just think of
all
a
them.
propane tank, it's 500 gallons.
Good idea.
Yeah, so twice the size of
They
that.
match.
1,000 does feel, I'm gonna totally contradict myself now. But 1,000 feels pretty big when you put
Yeah,
in that light,
yeah.
like a propane tank's 500 gallons, like,
Yeah.
yeah. 2 of those is,
Yeah,
that's
but if you're
it's a
a
large
if you're a
thing, and to your
Merlot
point about,
Mm-hmm.
I never thought about
or
the
the-
puncture thing, and,
Recreation people, you're using a lot of fuel every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah,
So would you
It's a big
rather
ball.
have a truck coming in there
Mhm.
who doesn't have any stake in the game, might not be as apt to not spill on the ground and take better
It's
care
more
of
than
it?
1,000 gallons.
And he's gotta go there every day, got a lot more traffic and,
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't think the tanks are all that bad.
the 1,000, you mean?
I mean, I'd rather see a tank than see a tanker come in there every single day.
Oh,
I see, it reduces the amount of time that a tanker's
Yeah,
coming
it's
in,
the-
yeah.
And spillage
Exactly.
and everything, you know?
I don't know, maybe we're splitting hairs here, but
Like, Merlot's gonna have
yeah,
a lot of fuel consumption.
yep.
There is a lot of vehicles over there today.
I think with what Commissioner Reiber said, like, it makes sense to me to maybe go down to 500.
And just not even offer 1,000.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think,
I mean, one can get punctured, 2 might not.
right,
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
because that's what that was my same concern too, is, somebody runs into it or backs into it or something or knocks it over. They might only knock one over, but not 2. But 1,000 gallon, I mean, we're talking a lot of liquid.
it's
It's
also,
a disgruntled employee
it's
to get
also
to.
a very big explosion,
Mm-hmm.
so,
Okay.
yeah, I'm okay adjusting that
All right. So now we're going back to,
to what we had. I would point out, just so you know, these setbacks that we're talking about, with the 150 and the 250 off wetlands, right?
150 and 200.
150 and 200. I mean, we'll see, but that- number 1 is
There might have been a reason for those.
very tight, so, okay.
But if you guys think they're too strict,
I don't,
okay,
So,
I don't.
okay,
just back for a second, we changed 1,000 to 500?
to 2.
2 500s.
2,
Okay,
500.
2,500, okay.
I flip-flopped.
That's why we have discussion.
I think the setbacks are good.
Okay.
I really do. Protection of, yeah, I really do, and, again, God forbid something happened, but if these were punctured and it did create a fireball, I think we have, like, these setbacks help preserve our structures. And then if
Safety.
there is a spill, protection of wetlands and open bodies of water. I think that is one of our critical areas of influence as a zoning board, so.
Yeah, but like you said, I mean, Merlot's is a complete, like, I don't even think we have, it's like Unicorn. I don't even think we have another one of those in our townships where it's industrial, right next to 5-acre minimum, and then a lake.
Yeah. But,
Even Grand Oaks
You
has
still
a,
wanna-
Grand Oaks doesn't have the residential. But they got the wetlands.
They might have the apartments, but they're too far back.
we
So,
technically accommodate it.
Says
You can get a
150
variance if they have
feet
a
from any
self-imposed practical
occupied
difficulty,
building.
so.
Why does it say occupied?
Hmm?
It says-
occupied, I did that because you could have a pole barn.
Hmm.
Like a pole barn is not considered occupied. An occupied would have,
Which every farmer has a tank right outside their barn.
right, and you have, people inside the occupied building.
Should it be livable? I mean, because you wouldn't live in a pole barn, right?
Can.
Right, but I mean, somebody might say, well, my horses are occupying it, or my cattle are, are
Right,
occupying it.
That's not, we can't regulate farms.
Okay.
Yeah, we're talking about strictly
I
commercial.
can play around with some
Industrial.
different
I'm just,
wording, but that's consistent, I believe, in our ordinance, I believe.
That's what it says now.
Yeah, occupied.
okay.
Thanks, Brian.
No, I just, wordsmithing.
So temporary tanks
Yes, sir.
require a land use permit?
Yes.
Do temporary tanks, they don't require to come before us, though?
I'm looking here.
I mean, a temporary tank would be like a tank set up for construction activities for a large project, right?
Right over here in the corner.
Yeah.
Which I kept going back and forth with them. Because we don't have anything right now for temporary storage.
Yeah,
That's if you see it.
right.
And again, that, like I was talking to other townships, that's something that they never think about until they see it, and it was right down at the corner. That's why they had the tanker there instead of they did have just, I think it was a 500-gallon tank. And I'm like, you guys can't have that.
Okay,
Well, then they kept bringing the tanker in.
yeah,
That was their way around,
yeah.
so.
Just, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the condition of every gas station, so, I mean, that's.
Right.
So below ground tanks then. Talk to us about, like, I don't see the, distances away from water bodies or wetlands, like the above ground ones.
It's adhering to the state.
Yeah. Is it because they are so state dependent, or?
The state does.
They want everything to do.
I will take a look, because I
Okay.
know the state says a residential well, and we cannot be more strict than the state regarding that part, but I will take a look and see what it says regarding, if there's anything in there regarding wetlands,
Okay.
or bodies of water.
I would have a similar concern for below ground as I would above. In fact, it's harder to detect, I would think, issues with the below ground until it's too late than with an above
I
ground.
think they're
tank.
double walled as well, so it's one of those things where it alarms.
You're right.
So I have a question on page 95, 13.05.10. Again, we're on above ground storage tanks. So we talked about that with our first action item number 1. It says above ground storage of toxic hazardous materials, says gasoline fuel,
95.
shall be located impervious and containing surface, which will prevent a leak of the tank from flowing onto the soil in order to protect. So to me, we talked about a catch bait, like a pit almost, that you would build around this thing that can contain the maximum amount plus 10%. But then the developer said, well, it's great also at capturing water, rainwater. So they just use a flat surface right there. And I'm reading 130510 as it's gotta be like a tub.
Yep, it does. Let me see.
Good catch.
Yep. Yeah, I'll have to change that. What is your take on those?
Well, have you ever seen one in a farm? They're full of dirt and grass.
Mm-hmm. And I think that, didn't we require one of those for, well, Seaside is what it was back in 2016 when that was approved from Michigan Rec.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a roof over it too.
You almost have to have that, or else it'll just fill up, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not gonna drain away, it's gotta evaporate, so.
Yeah, and then also, if it does rain and you create a little pool there, the
Yep.
gas and oil is gonna be on the top anyway, so
Yep.
the first thing it spills over is the gas and the fuel, so. It's probably an outdated thing.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
It is, because after I talked to the fire department, they said they don't, the state does not require those.
Yeah.
Does not
Does-
require
The
tubs,
tubs, because they are double walled.
because they're what?
They're double walled now, before they weren't.
Brian,
have
do
to
you
get-
have other communities that you work with or anything that have dealt with this?
This is the only place this has even come up. So,
Ever?
So when they
We're the
ask you,
first.
you can say, yeah, you guys, you know.
Paving the way.
So what you're saying is we're trendsetters,
absolutely.
all right?
None of time.
Well, it sounds like that's gonna be reviewed then.
And also, I was looking at the next page, 96, 1307 B. Loading and unloading areas for unloading hazardous substances shall be designed and constructed to trap hazardous materials spilled or leaked to prevent discharge. So again, I'm looking at a tub or enough absorption material there to just trap it and freeze it someplace.
We'd still have to be in a building or something to have something set up like that.
Right.
Like a pit, you're talking like.
Yeah, you'd have to, I mean, it'd have to be an enclosed building, now we're in a whole nother
It's a whole other
conundrum.
ballgame.
Right, 'cause we got-
Now you got all this
I
fit in
wonder
the
if there's
building.
special ways that they use to fill those tanks. They come in with a big truck, and is there any type of spill protection?
I just don't feel educated enough on this.
Big gas.
Go at it.
You know,
big
it's
gas
like,
pump.
Yeah, but who can you
But would
consult
you
with
rent,
to
you know,
say
one tank or?
how
you
this
know,
has to be
nozzles on them,
handled?
they're Gigantic,
Oh, they are, and sometimes, then they don't stop.
right.
I saw the
They
fire
just
department
spill all
fill
over
up
the place.
today for gas.
They're
And
probably
what?
the worst
Can you just
offenders
call
on
it
all.
It came back out,
call it right.
like it spit back out and
You have their
went
number?
down. And I'm like,
My son used to work for them in the cleanup.
I don't want to.
Oh, really?
Amy, is there like some sort of authority that we can sit here and discuss this, but,
The fire department has looked at what I've done.
okay. So we consider them an authority to say,
They are the
They
ones
will-
that will be inspecting them.
okay,
Actually, they just wanted me to put per fire department articles, this, and this, and that's all
I
they
was
wanted
gonna
me to put.
say, there's gotta be some sort of an ordinance or something or determination by somebody that says it has to comply with,
Yeah, who sets the standards for these tanks?
State of
Who,
Michigan.
State of Michigan, through what agency?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
so, yeah,
And the fire department, like I said, the fire department just wanted me to add one sentence that we have to, because they are the ones that will inspect them. They have to comply with
is there
all the
any
fire-
health codes? So besides this fire department, cause it's flammable, is there any health codes though?
They didn't, not that I know.
Okay,
Like I said, I've talked to Corrigan, I've talked to the fire department, which is who we rely on.
OSHA,
I would guess OSHA would,
yeah,
Yes.
occupational, they would have
Right.
something somewhere.
in regards to
In my-
process and procedures, yeah.
And what we run into is that you have a lot of times where we're gonna say, put in what the state of Michigan standards are, put in what the fire department standards are. Those are gonna change and we're not gonna be notified.
Right.
And that's my biggest concern about putting,
It's-
you know,
I agree, like, we can
Yep.
put in what we want, but then
Well, can't
we're
you,
not really the agency to like actually
Oversee
oversee this. I think where I start to feel more comfortable is, what do we feel comfortable with size? More specifically, what do we feel most comfortable with setbacks?
correct.
Some of the containment stuff feels out of our jurisdiction, I think. But I do wanna understand it, cause I feel like we have natural features in our community to protect that most don't, so.
couldn't you just state that they have to to comply with current code
Well, in
for
here,
OSHA and the fire department? And then you don't have to cite an, or, you know, a number, and then it's just, if
so
the,
if you
if
look
it
at
changes.
if you look at letter A,
Yep.
fire department, county, state, federal requirements,
Yep.
adding minimum fire department, state and federal requirements for storage, leak detection, record keeping, spill prevention,
Emergency responses.
must be met. It is the responsibility of the business facility owner to obtain any applicable state and federal permits or approvals which shall be submitted to the township.
Okay, that says it right there.
Sometimes I think, you know.
You overthink
We
it?
wanna do everything that we can, cause I completely agree with that. I'm one of the biggest proponents of natural features, wetlands, lakes, you know, all that. But I also gotta realize that we don't have the knowledge and we're overstepping
Right.
sometimes on other agencies that do have the specialized in that.
Yep.
And they will likely evolve their standards quicker than we evolve our ordinance, which puts us out of date real quick.
Absolutely. Yep,
But what we can do is put distance
correct.
between these features and the things we wanna protect.
So do we feel like B is also inclusive in A above, in terms of whatever requirements there are? Loading and unloading areas?
It's not giving you any points of, to confirm you're doing what's going on. 'Cause
Right.
It tells you all the things that it covers, and then that's it.
So, in Michigan, above-ground fuel storage standards are regulated by the Michigan is regulated by Eagle. Inspection requirements, capacity limits, regulatory authority, the program is overseen by the Fire Prevention Code. And the maintenance, would be through Eagle also.
Do we feel that that's encompassed in that, in A?
Yeah, like
How
I'm
would-
wondering if B
How would
should
you
read,
enforce B?
I'm wondering if B should read, areas for the loading or unloading of hazardous substance shall be in accordance with fire department, county, state, and federal
Yeah.
requirements.
There you go.
Yeah,
And designed to prevent discharge of hazardous substances to floor drains, rivers, or storm drains.
yeah,
Okay.
Then that way it ties to A,
right.
and it does the same thing that we were just, that Eric was just, Commissioner Roush was
Is
just.
that the new girl down there?
So, the sad part is an above-ground flammable compressed gas or liquefied petroleum gas storage location that has a tank with a capacity of more than 2,000 gallons would fall under Eagle. And I believe the fire department told me that Eagle only comes in when it's a certain amount, and then the fire department handles under that. It's really hard to be more strict when the state won't let you.
Well, as long as what they're stating no pun intended
Right,
is, we feel is sufficient.
right.
I think we've got so few areas that this affects, that as long as we're diligent every time it comes in front of us, we've done our due diligence at that point.
I do like them having to submit, the permits and approvals to us from the state, so we can put that with their special use.
Is it, I think Eric was making a point earlier, water, liquid will find the lowest spot. And I was asking, how did you choose the spot for your temporary storage, your above-ground storage tanks? And Eric's made another point to best protect our wetlands and our natural features. We're saying, make sure that your tanks are X number of feet away from this and X number of feet away from that, but it also has to be below grade. Can you make a tank be lower elevation? I guess the water would race it there. Yeah, make the tank be a lower elevation so that gravity will keep the hazardous material or delay it or make it run further to
You just
get.
create a stormwater problem.
Pardon me?
I thought about that too, but it creates an issue with your stormwater. If you had your tank at the low point, you would need a catch basin, and then now you'd have a catch basin going right to your pond. So I don't know if there would be any way to like do some type of containment in a basin that will naturally drain to. Like maybe the most downstream storm basin has some oil and water separator, I don't know. But if you had a low point around you have to drain your low point. So if you had a low point around your outdoor storage, you'd create some ponding issue. 'Cause I tried
You're
to
gonna
avoid
have
that.
some type of fuel
And
because you have to
everything-
fuel those and it'll go over, so you're gonna still have some splash over every time they fill the tank.
Right, like right now at Euler, if they're spilling onto the gravel, it's gonna drain north. I think it drains north to a catch basin, it's gonna go to the catch basin. But there's no way to avoid that unless you had like a curbing. But then again, that will just fill up.
Just thinking.
Yep.
So what do we have to, I guess, approve here? The red letter text with the markups that we've made
Correct.
verbally here at this table?
I think to move this along, I think the sections that Commissioner Reiber pointed out, I think
Yes.
it's good to review.
Yep.
I'm good with the 150 and 200 feet for the protection of the wetlands for both above and temporary above ground. I would suggest we have a conversation around the below ground fuel storage tanks. Do we need any similar things in those regards? Although I don't know how you build a gas station anymore
I was gonna say, do we have any,
We can't regulate the setbacks.
on below ground.
Correct.
That makes sense. Yep,
Yep.
because it's not a structure above ground.
Yeah, so
Got
I'm
it.
looking right now, Michigan above ground fuel storage standards is 20 feet from buildings.
Yep.
And it doesn't have anything about property lines.
Right.
Hmm.
But we can't do anything about below ground. Yeah, okay.
We had talked about, I'm looking at, and specifically 130702, it's talking about removing tanks from premises if their purpose is done or it's been a year. And I think we had talked about, and maybe the state regulates it, that tank needs to be emptied. It has to be empty if you're gonna move it around.
Okay.
And cause it says,
Empty prior to removal?
yeah, I mean, there's trucks that move tons of gasoline around, the combustible, they can move full tanks of stuff, but we're talking here for Genoa Township, I think it would be a good idea that we say, if you're gonna disassemble and take down or dismount a tank from its padding or something, or move it, it needs to be empty.
the only concern I would have is the very flammable and volatile part of,
There's fumes.
is the fumes.
And I
And I'd
also-
wonder how they would handle that, because a lot of times you think
Right.
one way and then it's absolutely contrary to what you think. But I wouldn't know,
Siphon that.
you know what I'm saying? If it's full,
Like,
or just
we've
about
had it done
full, and you
before
got
Corrigan
a
comes
little bit
and
at the top,
sucks
that's
it
all,
out.
that's the most flammable part,
Every time before they
as opposed to
Yeah.
filling the whole,
I was just thinking, if you're done,
Right.
somebody's gonna unbolt it.
I mean, if you're
Like
doing
crane
all
it.
your,
Yeah, and then they're gonna have a hoister, so we'll grab that tank,
Yeah.
load it onto
Yeah,
the back
maybe
of
we'll
a
have
truck
it sucked out.
someplace.
and probably have it
Whatever.
open air at that point.
Pardon?
It probably wouldn't leave it enclosed, as far as closed up so the fumes would congregate.
Yeah,
Might-
I'm just trying to think, because we had talked about it before, and it seemed like it was a good point to make sure that if we're gonna be transporting or draining or moving a tank around, that it's gotta be empty before you move it around, tip it.
I don't know enough about this, but
I
do you think that if that was important, it would be in there anyway?
I don't ever assume.
I mean, it got there full.
Well, that's what I was just
A
asking
full
Tim.
tank filled it somehow
yeah.
That's what I'm saying, there's trucks that drive
to
around.
that site.
Right.
So,
Tim said he has had, I'm sorry, Commissioner.
Yeah, I've had them
Sharon.
drained before. Corrigan comes out and drains them.
Before they move?
Yeah, but we've always been trying to get rid of them from property. But I would
Well, see,
assume
that's
they
what we
suck
want,
it,
yeah.
yeah, I would assume they suck it out and do any good old gas in there.
Now, this fuel can be like oil too, right? Are we talking, and we're just talking about not just gas, but, yeah, okay.
Fuel
Um,
oil tanks, a lot of them have been
Yeah,
removed.
yeah, I ran into one last week. Whose responsibility is it if it's been abandoned for a year to remove it? And who pays for it?
It would be the property owners,
What if,
just like everything else in our zoning ordinance.
so if
Except
they
if
don't
you're a
do it,
farmer.
then you have to take them to
Except if you're a
court?
farmer. Correct. I mean, we can say, like, everything in our ordinance, you know, the person is in charge of it, and then we'll end up in court. We try
I'm
not
just
to.
wondering if it needs to state in there that shall be removed by the owner, and if it's not, you know, does the township have the authority to do that, or does it need to address that?
I don't know, cause the fuel oil tanks, they go a long time without anybody touching them. Well, there's one in the basement, we're just gonna leave it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So they try to sell.
there was you just said
If
something.
the use has been yeah.
No, you just said something. You know, 1307 says hazardous material and fuel storage, okay? And then 130701 just says storage tanks. Could be water, could be soybeans, could be whatever. I just want to make sure that the subsequent, 1701, 1702, 1703, they're all under 1307, which is hazardous. So, because like 130701 says above ground storage tanks, and it could be anything. You can
Right.
store anything in
It
there.
is categorized under 1307.
Okay, all right, that
Hazardous
applies.
materials and fuel storage.
Okay. So what have we not discussed that we still need to, and by the way, is this to vote and finalize this verbiage tonight?
I would like to.
it seems to me then, if we could offer specifics to what you had brought up earlier. I think everything in red, in my opinion, is pretty darn good after discussion, so. So you had brought up, Bill, sections
Yes.
130510.
130510, above ground storage tanks, materials should be located on previous containers. Just remove it. Am I reading that correctly?
Yeah.
Which one?
130510.
Yep. So we 13.0510, and then on the next page, it's something in red, I remember you saying.
Loading and unloading.
B, 13.07 subsection B.
Right.
Can we leave 130509, but just make reference to it has to comply with 1307? Because it's in a different section, it's under performance standards, which is the smoke, airborne solids, odor, gases, vibration, noise.
13059. was being preserved.
Right, I'm sorry, 130510.
Okay.
Can we take out the area of, you know, like the beginning part of it, but, you know, this must comply with section 1307 of the hazardous materials?
So take out everything up until it says must comply with section 1307?
Yeah.
But then, I mean, you have 1307.
I know, but then it still references them down to that, because performance standards and then hazardous materials and fuel storage are two different things. So I just kind of want to make sure.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
What is topic?
Yeah, above ground storage of toxic and hazardous materials, because you're wanting, this is more than just gas tanks.
Right.
Yes, that makes sense. Okay, thank you for that.
And then you had a good idea for the verbiage
Mhm.
of B.
Yeah, she captured that though,
Okay.
right, Amy? B, 1307B.
Yes. I have an arrow from up above going down, but then I will keep designed to prevent discharge of hazardous substance to floor drains, rivers, and storm drains. Rivers, I'm just gonna take out rivers, and I wanna put, you know,
Waterway?
open bodies of
Water
water
bodies,
and
yeah.
wetlands and stuff. I
Yep.
think we should take that
Littoral?
out.
I don't feel like we resolved 130510 yet. It ends, the last three words are and fuel storage. Can you just somehow make this not about fuel storage? Cause there's other potential materials and toxins that I think this applies to, right?
It just says,
Yeah, other chemicals that we should,
yeah, can you just take out and fuel storage?
yeah, just take out.
The last three words. So you were gonna take out everything up to must comply with section 13.07 hazardous materials. And
Correct.
get rid of, so it's a very short
Correct.
sentence there for 130510.
Yep.
Yes, okay.
But it's exacting, it's not in any way ambiguous. It's right to the point.
Right.
Okay.
Is that it?
Okay.
Yeah, I think so too.
Do we wanna move on to
The setbacks are the big one, that's a huge deal.
wetlands?
Can you draw my attention to where that's at?
Yeah, please. I don't,
Start
I don't see it.
on,
88, so we're up.
Further up higher,
pretty much gonna be,
86.
sorry, I don't.
Okay, wetland protection standards, got it. Okay.
Where are we at?
88?
Computer, page 86.
What is a diked area? Is something that is,
Basically like a temporary earthen
Temporary
berm or
wall.
something that now creates a new body of water behind it.
do we have that word in the glossary in our ordinance? We should probably put that in there. I mean, I was thinking about the little boy that put his thumb in the,
I can put that on the list for Article 25.
there's so many times I look at stuff and I'm like, is that in our glossary or in our definition? So, sorry.
All right, Mary Ann. Sorry, we get to go through this as soon as the master plan's done, then we get to do a whole ordinance update.
Wetland
we get
that
to
is
go through this
instantly
all over
created as
again.
a result of one or more of the following activities not subject to regulation under this ordinance. Okay, quick question though. It's possible over time that something could be regulated by the state though. So I'm sorry, I'm reviewing now, page 88, 13.02.01. And a wetland that's incidentally created as a result of one or more of the following activities is not subject to regulation under this ordinance. But for how much time?
I'm sorry, where are you at?
130201, so is that page 86?
Page
Oh.
88,
88?
I'm on
17.
17A.
Oh, okay.
Or just 17 in general, just kind of thinking through this. So in my previous experiences as a civil engineer, I can recall a time or two when, you know, so-and-so farmer was like, well, that wetland wasn't there 50 years ago, but well, it is there now. It's 3 acres and it's got, you know. And so just thinking about this, like, I don't know.
Well, we also have, I believe Shelby, like sometimes detention ponds turn
Yeah.
into wetlands also.
Ditches.
Yep. And those can
Become regulated by Eagle, they can become regulated by Eagle, yeah. So that's kind of where I was bringing this up, because even if we say it isn't subject to our regulations, it's subject to Eagle's regulations, well,
Right. Well,
so excavation.
would you like to see more wording added?
Is this in there, why was this added in?
Let me take a look, hold on.
What was this solving?
This might be highlighted by accident, now that I'm thinking about it.
It almost looks like it because it's missing the A at the
Yeah.
beginning.
Yeah.
So it's not new.
Sorry, I have so many drafts of this thing. No, I added in that, and I also added in 16.
Does this have anything to do with recent cases? Perhaps?
I'm sorry, it's been a while since I,
Yeah. For sand or mining, is there anything with gravel that this would have been added for?
I believe I looked at the state of Michigan, but the information I received from them, and this is where that came from.
I kind of don't want anyone to get the idea that any of these 3 activities should be in our community. You know? I kind of don't even want to bring it up.
Amy, could this be related to the fact that Eagle regulates wetlands that are or wet spaces that are greater than an acre? Does it have to do with the size? Because,
Actually, they regulate anything 5 acres or more.
okay.
Or attached to a body of water.
Correct.
Or attached
Or flows into.
Correct. But, hold on.
We're taking open meeting to a
Yeah.
whole new
Yeah,
level.
sorry. So I believe that's where I added it from. And we do have one,
Where at?
Chestnut Springs.
Uh-huh. That's why I was thinking, is this
Yes,
due to recent,
Yep, that's right.
we do have one. We went to court over.
By the railroad
off
tracks,
of Chilson Road to the
Chilson
east
Road.
side?
just north of the railroad
Developer
tracks.
did illegal.
No.
mining.
Happened in Green Up too.
All right, do we like the wording, or are we good with this section?
Well, I think that he's in there for a reason.
What are your thoughts, Brian?
Don't even know where to start.
I guess, what is the definition of wetland?
A
Right, cause it
wetland-
starts off, it says, a wetland that is incidentally created, what did you just what was just created that meets X
Oops, sorry.
definition?
Just got out there. A wetland is a body of water, I'm doing this off of the cuff, is a body of water that is regulated by the state, that is 5 acres or more. Well,
Excuse me.
Sorry.
Call the-
I love dealing with mistakes. As I said, I was taking that off of the cuff. Let me go back to our ordinance.
You do have a definition, it's in the ordinance.
Okay, that's what I was trying to look up. Yeah, I get to Genoa. Article 25. So not contiguous to an inland lake or pond, or a river or stream 5 acres or less inside. If the MDNR, should be MDEQ, which is DEQ, determines the protection of the area is essential for the reservation. Then we have contiguous to an inland lake or pond or a river or stream, not contiguous to an inland pond or a river or stream in more than 5 acres in size. Now, when the state becomes involved, is different requirements. Because you have non-regulated wetlands and you have regulated wetlands.
So a wetland that is incidentally created.
As a result of some of the activities,
It can happen
excavation
just
of
because
mining.
water flow.
Yeah, I know, but it says land characterized by the presence of water that's gonna support vegetation or aquatic life and is commonly referred to as a bog, swamp, or marsh, which is in any of these following. So you've dug a hole, and over time, nature has moved in, and there's ducks swimming around on it, there's cattails, who knows, frogs, whatever. That's a little wetland that over time, it's just sat there and accumulated water, and now it's classified as meeting this definition. Okay.
But the point of this is just, as it's written now, is to say that it's not subject to regulation under this ordinance.
Right, this is a list of exclusions.
I want it. I don't want it. I don't necessarily want to exclude these.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
think my
want.
point is,
yeah.
can we just get rid of 17
You want to?
and call it a day? And then when these very rare circumstances, if they come up, we want to see it.
I was thinking the same
That's
thing.
a force.
Yeah. There's a lawsuit just down in Dexter where the farmer did this and he
Yeah.
lost, yeah,
This creates a loophole.
yeah.
Yeah, or just take out the word not. A wetland that is densely created of more than activities is subject to regulation under this ordinance, right?
But then someone could read and come up with 100 other scenarios too, that's not specifically outlined, and then like create some sort of gray area.
Yeah, okay, right. Okay.
I'd rather just get rid
Have them
of
come see us.
everything is like, if it meets the definition of a wetland, our ordinance regulates it.
There you go.
Okay.
I'd be good with that.
Well, and it's so subjective.
It's,
All of them
yes,
are subjective.
yes,
Okay, so we're gonna take out 17 then.
I think so.
Is everybody good with that?
I'm okay with it.
Okay. Good?
We run into a lot of situations like this, so.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. I mean, you have a heavy spring with rain, now you have wetland.
Yeah, as long as it stays wet for a specific period of time.
Mhm.
Mark
Our boss comes in there with their stupid little poker and calls it wetlands now.
Mm-hmm.
Do we require it to be, I mean, there's wetland scientists. They designate wetlands. That's
Yes.
literally what they do.
Yes.
So we require a wetland scientist to designate it. And my understanding of what they do, it's not just wet soil. It is the ecosystem and the type of vegetation they see, they go out there with specific flags and like flag off exactly where this is at. And it's more than just like wet soil. So the ecology of the entire area, which takes years to develop, is in consideration for it. So with that understanding of wetland, I think this is fine, because it would take years to get to that point.
Sometimes, because we've had mowed lawns that, or manicured lawns that the water just creeps in after a heavy rain.
Yep.
And they go out there and they have that poker that they test the density of the soil, and then they call it wetlands, and there's nothing but grass in there.
Well, they call it wetland.
So
Do you,
I think I'm still good removing 17. Yeah, I think for those very rare circumstances, in my opinion, I think it's
Have them come see us.
having consensus.
Okay.
All right, on to the next.
I didn't have any comments.
Yeah, that seems all right.
130203.
Yep,
Yep.
That red paragraph seems all right to me.
yep. On to the next.
Buffer.
That's fine with that too.
Anyone got issues with C?
Somewhere, doesn't it say that you can build a maintained path through one of these natural setbacks?
Yep.
What's the logic or reasoning behind that?
So they can, sometimes you have wetlands, then you have your lake.
Open body water.
There's properties on Grover that have that. They have a huge wetland area that's regulated. And Eagle will allow them to put a boardwalk down to the water. So in that 25 foot, we allow them access
To get to that water
boardwalk.
over the wetland.
Yeah.
Got some on the
Through-
corner, don't we?
Okay.
Also, a lot of developed
Their
communities
path.
have
Oh, okay.
common areas set aside to meet the building requirements. And so they use those natural features as selling points for residents to be able to access it for viewing.
Currently, right now, we allow trails and recreation areas. I took out the recreation areas. So now it's just a trail.
Okay.
I'm on page 89. I have mixed feelings about this sign.
About
These
which
signs.
one?
The signs along the 25-foot undisturbed
I don't have a page.
natural buffer setback.
I got a separate.
So I know they're small, just
No,
1 foot by 1
204.
foot, every 75 feet.
I wanted to talk about the 75 foot too.
I don't know. I just feel like, I mean, this is natural feature protection. I mean, the sign kind of ruins it too. You know what I'm saying?
So, yeah, so I, just being in backyards and seeing where people have encroached into that area, and there is, it was clear it shouldn't be that way, it was clear that it, you know, the intent was it was not to be that way, and you look out the back door and it's not what it was approved to be.
I have to agree, we see it all day long. People who have wetlands that back up their backyard have no problem encroaching on it, stepping on it, filling it in, utilizing it for their kids. I mean, play area.
Seems like that same person would probably have no problem taking a 1 foot by 1 foot sign down too.
But that should be regulated.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of wetlands are in communities where then the
Yeah.
association is forced to regulate that and make sure that because they will get violated. But I mean, it happens ridiculously more than you
Sign
think
actually
it would.
puts them on notice, I guess.
Well, a lot of the times too, we're running into, just like this one over there on Legacy Hills.
Right.
You know, you did all that work on the wetlands and the buffer that they're gonna leave. But you know, you don't have it in their bylaws, you don't have it in the PUD, which now we do, we included the signs. You have that one landscape company that's gonna come in, they're not gonna know.
Yeah.
and they're just gonna encroach. We have it over there on Woodland Springs off of Hughes Road. That's the only reason why, I mean, this is for, I think I put in the restrictions
Like public
that-
notice.
Just give
It
them
is.
notice.
But I think it's also for new splits, developments. And what else did I have on that? Any land division or development that creates a parcel containing regulated wetlands.
We actually had a community where 32 homeowners, 32, sodded right up to the wetland and then cleared the water out past their yard, you know, that they sodded to, into, because the wetland then turned into a lake. I mean, at that time, what was it called? Not Eagle, what were they called then?
DEQ.
The DEQ, I mean, they came down hard on all 32 residents. It was a big deal.
Well, Woods is very strict with theirs, which I appreciate.
But if you don't put signs up and you don't make it clear that they can't do it, they'll do it.
Stand corrected.
They will, I know, we hate it too, I mean, because it's a beautiful area, and we're looking at this, and that's one of the reasons why the signs are meant to be relatively small, but spaced, you know, but spaced out more frequently. But it's unfortunate, but
It's very hard to enforce that. You
Yeah.
know, you go back to a homeowner that's been there 5 years, oh, I didn't know.
Or how
I
about
can
the,
appreciate the
the
big
next
developments.
homeowner?
Yeah.
The next homeowner, and they're like, why is this here?
But it gives you the authority, even if they pull the signs, it gives you the authority to hold them accountable if they do it and somebody
Yeah.
calls it in.
Right.
You know, sorry the signs aren't there, but you should know better about the land.
Should put in the PUD agreement too.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, Amy, that, the required demarcation sign 1 foot width by 1 foot height, but the lettering, and we've got some sentences there, is 1.5 inches.
You don't think it'll fit on there?
No.
I was
I
wondering,
know, I was trying to keep it
wondering if
small.
some of them go on the front, some of it goes on the
Lots of
back.
hyphens.
I have a I had a
Yeah,
ruler
or-
on our, because our
or
ZBA
abbreviations.
signs are that. So I went off of our ZBA signs, so I was measuring the text on those and measuring the sign itself. So that's kind of what I went off of.
Okay.
I'd probably have someone just create the design and standardize it
Yes,
for the township.
exactly.
Okay.
I wouldn't even mind having
Yep.
the township logo on it, frankly. But I would standardize it.
Maybe you could have every other one. One says natural features, buffer protected, and then they can have no
Alternate.
clearing grading, yeah.
I still don't think sentence 2 is gonna fit on a 1-by-1 sign.
Okay.
Well, I just did the math, I think it will.
You could just put protected area. There's some redundancy in what you.
I know, I just feel like sometimes you want to spell it out.
No, I like the fact that you're
But-
telling somebody, no clearing, no grading, I like that. That should be right there, made very clear.
Who's gonna maintain the signs?
A 1 foot by 1 foot sign.
Who maintains the
Just,
signs?
could you just
Amy?
put no disturbance
Who maintains the
permitted?
signs?
The
Could you
property
just
owner
put
or
no
the
disturbance
development, or
permitted?
Protected area means more than natural
So
you
features.
get an
buffer. What does
HOA.
natural features buffer
You're
mean?
probably best to go to an HOA, because they'd like
Doesn't-
to
does
enforce
somebody
it.
Protected
like
area.
Other than
Protected
us?
area?
Just put protected area.
Protected area.
Yeah, just put protected area, and then maybe
Two
just
words,
put,
protected area. And
no,
then township logo, they'll call you for more information. if they need
Most
to.
general
Put your
people
cell
walking
phone
around
number on
doesn't
it.
know what a natural features buffer means.
Right.
and then just put no disturbance permitted?
No, well, you could put protected area, and then in smaller text, spell it out at the bottom of the sign.
Do not disturb.
Just put Amy's cell phone number on it, right?
There you go.
Kind of like how we made the bigger text on the signs for rezonings,
Mm-hmm.
and then made the other part smaller.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the idea of spelling it out.
Okay, on to the next.
Oh, let's go back.
Let's go back.
75 feet.
Every,
That's like this. Why'd you have questions? You wanted more of them or less of them?
Well, I still want to protect property rights. I mean, because natural feature buffers are sometimes questionable. But
What's
part
the
of me
width of
wants-
what's the width of the properties in Legacy Hills as an example?
I think they're 100.
So you would end up with a sign, at least on one sign on each property.
So I picture the long people going around, going like this, and then going out around the sign and coming back.
Yeah.
Does
Wouldn't
that
be nice?
first sentence read right, though? Sign location must ensure that sign is fully visible and installed 75 feet of natural features buffer frontage?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me.
75 feet from,
Yeah.
should it say from?
No. No, I got it.
Every 75 feet
Yes.
within the natural
Mhm.
features buffer frontage.
Yep. Height-wise. So let's say we have the sign. It's gonna be bigger than 1 foot by 1 foot. Height-wise.
Chest level.
No, most of our communities do knee level.
Yeah, they're like 3
They
feet
keep-
tall.
Just for the reason you mentioned, I mean, you can see it. If you walk up to it,
Visibility.
you can see it. But then it's not intrusive to the
View.
the beauty of the area. So I know in most associations, they require that the bottom of the sign is at knee level. You know, so roughly 2.5 feet, I think, is what 18 to 24 inches.
If the post could look like a cattail, even better.
You're killing me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be honest, they don't look that bad, though. They
Yeah.
really don't. Because everything else is so big compared to the sign, you really don't, they kind of blend in.
Amy, would we go around periodically just to make sure these things are still up, or are we just gonna trust that?
Who's gonna do it?
Oh, that-
Our
the
new
new guy.
person.
No, seriously, I mean,
Yes, we're serious. Yeah, someone from the township will go around. And periodically, and sometimes, we get new aerials every couple months, and we always go around, especially on our aerials, and look for encroachment. Especially with repeat offenders, we have
Yeah, I think
people
it's a good
flagged.
to
but
have
we
a
still
standard
do.
here at the
Yeah, I cre-
township, and
I
then
created a
everybody's
template.
look this, perfect, Eric's got it all done.
And one thing you have to be cognizant of is we don't have permission to occupy someone, to go onto someone's property, unless there's an active permit. If it's someone's private property,
there's no teeth.
Hmm?
There's no teeth, unless you can look from outside that property and say, I
correct.
don't see any signs, and
And we
there's
can
supposed
use
to
our
be a sign
aerials.
there.
Correct.
Both the
Then
assessors.
what are the teeth? Is there a fine? Is there,
It would go with our Article 20, I think it's 21 for enforcement. We would follow the same protocol we do for everything else.
all right, how do we like this area? We're getting quiet, we gotta
Yeah, I'm ready to move on.
keep on moving.
So now the sign's gonna say protected area, no clearing, grading, or disturbance of any kind is permitted?
It's gonna be, it'll say in bigger letters and then smaller letters.
Right, but no, that's
And then
just
Eric
what
would
it'll
like
say.
them
Okay.
uniform signs.
I can't tell.
White with the Genoa blue and the logo on the bottom right corner.
I was kinda wanting to make them a little bit more with the nature setting.
They can be tan in the background
Yeah,
with some, like, grass painted behind them.
there you go.
Neon.
I'm okay with the beige and the black lettering.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, where are we?
C, accessory structures or buildings shall be set back 35 feet from a regulated wetland to ensure no encroachment into the buffer.
Fine with that.
Right now, it's 25 feet.
I'm
We
fine
have
with-
to allow someone to build up to the 25-foot line. Even though I argue with them, how are you gonna tell me you're not gonna encroach into that buffer? To put siding, to put the walls up, to put the tie back on.
So this is going from 25 to 35 feet?
Yes,
Is
for
that the
buildings.
change? Okay.
Does this not include driveways?
I have See, with driveways, you probably could do it without encroaching into that 25 feet.
But I'm just asking that driveways doesn't need to be included in this, right? We're just talking accessory buildings, structures,
Right.
permanent structures, not a driveway.
That's backwards. I'm gonna put accessory buildings and structures.
What is the purpose of G? The use of chemical pesticides, phosphorus, fertilizer shall be prohibited within the 25-foot natural buffer. That's what, to minimize
The runoff.
poisoning the water?
Yes.
But shouldn't it be 35 to match the 35 above?
So my question is on this one, I don't know how to enforce this one. But I was asked to put it in, and I can't remember.
You can't enforce it unless somebody complains.
Yeah.
And they have to have documented proof,
Or,
because I can't go on someone's property.
or video proof.
And they have to be willing to testify in court.
I think it's fine enough to keep in there, though.
I think it is just to
'Cause they can
remind
really
people that
mess
it's not
around with
allowed.
the
Yeah.
ecology or
Fertilizer, so
something.
there's
It's
spot
good just
where
to
they've
have
done it,
something.
it's gonna be more,
You have to remember, the only thing we can regulate is that 25-foot buffer. We cannot regulate what's in that wetland.
Right,
That
but
is
most fertilization companies can't do it because that's the state law.
Yes.
Yep.
So this just reinforces it.
Yep.
Yep.
But why does F above say, on the last sentence, constructing or undertaking seasonal or permanent operations except as authorized pursuant to section G below, and section G below refers to pesticides?
I don't know. Sorry. I've gone through this so many times.
Yep, just get rid of that.
Yep.
Get rid of what?
Get rid of F? What were we getting rid of F?
No, just the last sentence,
Yeah.
or the
Get rid
last
of G?
5 words, except as authorized pursuant to section G below.
Okay.
and then we go to H, the following page.
And I'm wondering if that's, I'm reading.
Very little after that, it's just, that's it.
Okay.
Move it.
So did we take G out? Or is
No,
that
we
what
just
we're
took
doing?
the last 5 words out.
Except as authorized, we're taking
Yeah.
those out, okay.
From here on out, it looks like we're just
It's just E.
including Eagle and the Great Lakes Energy. On riparian lots.
Just for my own education here, so a keyhole lot,
It's illegal,
unless it was established before
yeah,
April of 95.
yeah.
And
How are you
that's
classifying it?
access to
Keyhole lot?
a water body,
Through
kind of
another
general common
properties.
element of something, okay.
Under 4, Amy,
Wait, are we, hold on.
sorry,
Are we still on F, 1, 2, 3, 4?
yes, I am.
Okay.
Question there, under, after construction, areas outside of the constructed elements within the wetland should be restored, or will be?
Which one are you on?
4, red, under F4.
Let's see.
It's the last
Mu- or
sentence,
must.
it's the last sentence. Within the wetland setback,
Yep.
it says should be restored, should it say shall be? Must?
I like, shall's pretty much consistent with our ordinance, I believe
Okay.
we use shall.
Consistent's good.
And G that says shall be permitted. I don't think there's anything.
No,
There's a lot of hard work in here, Amy, thank you.
Yeah, thank you,
It's
Amy.
hard to gather all this over time, so thank you for doing that.
Already did the hazard material. Are you awake?
I'm awake. I'm just sitting
So-
here trying to think some of these through.
This is just my background, I just have to bring it up.
That's all right.
So when you're all done with this, will you go through and highlight everything and just hit
Yeah,
font
redact.
size, so that all the font sizes
Yes.
are the same, okay? Because I know they're back and forth.
Yeah.
But you're probably not doing cleanup till you're all done with
Correct.
editing.
All right. Do I need a call to the public?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. we
And
can
I would
do
like
the
to
rest
call to the public, whoever would like to speak on this issue may come forward, and you have 2 minutes to do so. Just 2. You're gonna state your name.
Denise Policella, 4200 Sweet Road. Thank you, first of all. Just thank you so much for tackling this. It's not an easy task, and from myself personally and the coalition, there are some things in here that we've wanted for a while, and we really appreciate you taking the time to do this. It's very late, and this is not easy. As far as getting somebody, and these are random in no order, as far as getting somebody to remove a storage tank and they refuse to do it, require a performance bond or an escrow. Townships and cities do it all the time. So you can keep money in escrow, and then if they don't take their tank, you get to use that money to remove the tank, and then we don't have to sue them. As far as wetland regulation, as far as above ground and underground hazardous waste storage tank, there is none, okay? Above ground, don't take my word for it, ask one of your many lawyers, especially Mike, he'll know. Above ground storage tanks have buffer regulations, requirements from buildings. Underground storage tanks have requirements for buffers from drinking wells. That's it. You are more than free to buffer them as far as you want from wetlands and water sources to protect those wetlands and water sources. It is wide open for you to do. You have no state restrictions on that matter. So please feel free to buffer those as far as you'd like to, with our full support. And again, don't take my word for it, but that does not exist. You're not restricted in any way at the state level or at the community level from buffering hazardous waste storage from bodies of water or wetlands. Just ASTs from buildings and USTs from drinking wells. That's it. That doesn't mean you can't regulate anything else with an ordinance. That means you can. Also, particularly in Livingston County and the Brighton Area Fire Department, Fire Authority has been delegated a lot of responsibility from the state for maintaining these. So they have that authority. I'm so out of time, so I guess I'm just gonna put the rest of what I have to say in writing. And please don't rely on special land use permit applications and board meetings to screen people for not doing these kinds of things later. It would be much better for it to be in the ordinance than for you to leave it open for special land use permits. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Deborah Beatty, 3109 Pineview Trail. My concern is, I think we need a bigger setback for wetlands. I don't know why we're playing around with 25. That's like from you guys to me. You know, that's nothing. Why don't we do 50 foot? And I understand that doesn't sound extreme to me. It sounds not even good enough to me. But let's say we went with 50, and there could be a time when somebody comes in and says, oh, that's going to be a hardship, and they show us how it's a hardship, and then we work with them. But why don't we start it there and make somebody work with us instead? That would help with a lot of these issues, especially with pesticides and fertilizers that are going to be put on those lawns. And having that 50 would help. It would also help putting the signs out. We just give that wetland such a better buffer if we do 50. And like I said, somebody comes in and complains, you always work with them if they can prove a hardship. Why just give them everything? Why just give any of us anything? Let's start protecting what's valuable. And let's see, I think I had some questions on this last page. The performance standards. And I'm thinking about these performance standards with that first applicant that came and what they're doing on their property with the vibration, noise, and smells. So I'd like you to, keep, these may cover some of those problems if somebody complains, that neighbor complains about that first applicant, the Merlot property. I think that's all. But the 50-foot buffer, I mean, let's just consider that. Why not?
Thank you.
Melanie Johnson, 3990 Chilson Road, and I did lose it, shoot. We were at like page 980, 94, were we at just now? Oh, totally bad. Sorry. Okay, well, I'll just say it. I think I have enough. Setbacks, 25 foot, 35 foot, what have you, that might be building setbacks. What about driveways? Because I know you have a roof runoff and then it hits the cement and then you have to have drainage and then you go to a detention or retention pond. And that does help to keep things a little set back from the actual natural water space. However, I just wanted to point out to you that Eagle has some fantastic maps that you can overlay. Highest potential, places where we can actually, where we want to be concerned about what's happening in the wet spaces. And in Legacy, that is actually considered wetlands as identified that by the NWI and the MIRIS, and that is National Wetland Inventory and Michigan Resource Inventory. So I mean, it's not a regulated wetland. So I think maybe removing the word regulated out of some of these might be helpful in creating if it's regulated, certainly, yes, we want to keep these standards. But if it's not regulated, we're already saying we're going to put signs in Legacy because we care about that entire space. And these small little wet spots show us where groundwater is being penetrated. It also shows us where species are moving from place to place. So protecting these things that are swamps and vernal pools, so there's a couple different things. This is, well, I'm zoomed in on Legacy right now, but you can see that, take a look, it's a really fun map, and you can see where they're having moderate potential for pre-settlement and hydraulic soils, and it's just a great time to look at it. What else did I have? And I think having the signs, even if they take them out, it creates maybe a peer pressure. So it's like suggesting to someone like, oh, I didn't think about that. I think I heard someone speak one time and they said, everyone mows all their clippings into the forest. And so if you have 30 years of mowing your clippings into the forest, you gently, and they're like, oh, I can take another 2 inches, and I can take another 2 inches, and that's how it encroaches. So I think maybe if Nancy has a problem with Drew and then says, oh, Drew over there removed his sign, you can create, but that's a neighborhood thing. I don't think we can actually enforce this, obviously, in common open space neighborhoods, but I think it's a good idea to at least begin somewhere for people to understand that you have to not dump your leaves into swamps, or discourage it at least. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to step forward and, no? All right, I'm gonna bring the call of the public to an end and come back up front for any discussion or a motion.
I would only bring up two things. I'm not sure I'm against the 50 foot, to be honest with you. You can,
Me neither.
yeah, I'm not sure, especially when Commissioner Roush was, pushing really hard for 200 feet on the tanks. I mean, if we can do a variance when it's absolutely necessary. I'm not sure I'm against that. I just throw that as my thought. And then two, I'm not comfortable approving it without rereading it. We made so many changes.
Correct.
Yeah.
I was gonna
I know you
ask,
wanted to
we do
get it
not
done today,
approve
but
it.
I think it should be reread.
Yep.
Just to make sure, you've already said you've looked at it, you're probably getting brain dead looking at it. We can be another set of eyes.
Well, you
and
get
ears.
everybody's,
Right.
there's a lot of chefs in the kitchen,
Yeah.
so you're trying to get everybody's
No, absolutely,
concerns.
and I think
Right.
I want to make sure that,
Do we table it then?
you've done such a great job
Okay.
that we finish it up
So I'll
well.
look for a motion to table this till,
I think Eric's got
Oh, yeah.
You can tell when he's thinking.
I have mixed feelings about that 50 foot and versus 25 foot. I think
35's a happy medium.
Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, that environmental feature setback that we have at 25 feet is pretty rare in municipal ordinances.
Yep.
Like, I don't even know if another community in Livingston County has that.
I'm seeing bigger
Where?
online, looking at different townships and counties.
Where?
One of my concerns is, you know,
Alright,
we
we're
do
gonna
have a
keep it
lot
up front.
out there right now that
Yeah.
are
25. And
25.
This has been
So we have so
40
many
years of development with that in place.
non-conforming.
25 is very common. That is every natural feature setback I work with in other communities, 25 has always been the standard.
Right, and I'm trying to think about the,
I know,
I'm just answering questions.
I know, I'm just,
Okay.
you know, so, yeah, just.
Yeah, I'm not against the conversation, I'm just, to your point, like, let's look at both ends of the conversation, and it would create a whole bunch of nonconformities.
Yep,
It would.
It would create a whole bunch of nonconformities.
Yeah.
That's-
So I only remember talking about two that were even close in the years I've been here, but.
This isn't even.
Do you sit
building.
on the
This
Z-
is-
do you
this
sit
is-
on the ZBA?
This is parking lots.
Huh?
I sit on the ZBA, so, yeah.
No, you have to think about, you
Yeah.
have 10,000
Detention
parcels.
ponds,
Yeah.
So
parking
you're
lots,
trying to,
all those things
yeah,
are
you're
outside
trying to
of
write an
those.
ordinance
Yeah.
So it's
that
not
is for
even like
10,000
building.
parcels.
Okay.
And
No,
all
I-
lots, all
it's
lots are not
hard.
the same, right? All lots are not created equal, so that's, yeah.
No, I mean, we're not interested in creating a whole bunch of work, so we turn around and approve them.
Right.
All right, we're gonna look at this again.
Yeah, I think our public comment, my one thought was, do we add the same distance standards to underground storage tanks that we had for above ground?
Wasn't one of them 2,000 feet from any, is it a resident?
I just had
For
it.
Do we have any
Underground's
authority
2,000.
at all on
We did
underground? I
have
thought
it
we,
at 2,000 and we can't have
It was
it at
150
I
and it
thought we
was
established we had
Yeah,
no
though,
no
It's from
authority. over
150
Well-
from property line, 250 from body of water.
Yeah, we have it from a well.
Or
Let me
200,
look
sorry.
into that, and
Yeah.
I'll talk to
Okay.
the attorney,
Okay.
because I know that he already gave me some feedback on that, so, but let me talk to him again.
Above or below ground, I feel like we take similar risk on as a community,
Right.
and I would ask for that to be considered.
I just worry about, so my thing is, oh, does it say residential? Yeah, let me talk to the attorney.
I don't know if we have any authority at all for underground tanks. I don't know that we do.
We don't have the setback from a well. We don't have, we can't say it, right now, we currently say if we 2,000 feet from a well,
Well,
we can't regulate that.
right.
But let me look into see what else we can, if you want the setbacks from the property lines. So yeah, let me look into that.
I don't know how I feel about, because Dennis come up and said, I'm not opposed to 50 feet. I said, I'm not opposed to it either. And then it was, well, that's gonna create hardship, or it's gonna be extra work or something like that.
No, that's not, let me interrupt for 1 second. It's not, you're creating non-conforming parcels, which is what we do not, you don't want those. Your objective is to have conforming
Everything
parcels.
would become
So
more
if you think about
conformity,
40
yes.
years of an ordinance of 25 feet or more, so you just went through Legacy Hills.
Which we've already
here's what
established
happens
25
then,
feet is a larger than most.
Right.
If a business who has their parking lot 25 feet right now from the wetland comes in and resurfaces or wants to reconfigure their parking lot a little bit, that now has to come in 50 feet. And what that likely means is that they now can't meet their parking requirements either, because you just brought in a bunch of parking too. And so you create like this kind of cascading impact, because you took the developed envelope of a property and you potentially you made it smaller. And so I just wanted to bring that up. I'm not against it. I just want to bring up the potential, like, things that it can create later on by making a decision like that.
Yeah,
There
and
are
I'm not
cascading
interested in forcing it through to another, to the zoning board of appeals, so that they can turn around and approve it, just create all that extra work. I mean, that's not the intent either.
I mean, certainly you want to
'Cause, I mean, that
protect
is
as much as
logical,
you
you would-
can, but again, for as long as I've been here, I've known that we are more strict
Right,
than
virtually any
the
other.
surrounding communities.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Brian just said 25 is very common.
The communities I work in, it is.
Right, we just went to 35
Well, we went to 35 for
For
buildings.
buildings.
for building.
Just for buildings, just accessory buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm the new guy, I don't know, the unintended consequences of trying to do the right thing could create,
Hardships. Yeah, for
yeah,
other people, yeah.
but, I mean, well, if you change an ordinance, doesn't everybody that built and designed and got approved prior, you're immune? Hey, you don't have to now restrict the size of your parking lot because you got approval to start with there.
Not if they want to.
Until you
Well,
go
guess
back
what
and
happens if
upgrade
it burns down?
Well, they wanna
Like,
make an
now they
addition
have to
to it.
now they have to comply with, like, the ordinance as it's written. So only, it's grandfathered in.
So, yeah, so as that property sits, it's conforming with our ordinance.
Right.
But now if you make it 50, it's not conforming with our ordinance. So if they want to do anything, they have to come back. So you're putting an additional burden onto, regardless if it's a business
The
or a
homeowner,
homeowner.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I don't want people to think it's all about the businesses, it's about the homeowner too.
Let's leave it at 25, let's get everything done that you had in the document as far as editing, and then we can revisit it the next time we look at it. We're not gonna make a decision on that,
Correct.
to change it at all tonight, so.
I'll take a look and see what other communities similar to ours,
So do we make a motion to table, or was that already made?
to table, yep.
It hasn't been made.
Okay, so I make a motion to table discussion of item number 4
We,
until.
No, it-
we need to make sure that there's no
Oh,
other
no more
discussion.
discussion?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, I thought we were
Just wanna,
kinda wrapping it up
just,
here.
yeah, I'll ask for a motion.
Okay.
I'm done.
So, everybody done? Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I make a motion to table, agenda item number 4 until the next meeting of the planning commission, February 9th.
Support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, moves to the 9th. All right, staff report, we saw the annual report
Yep.
information.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you for putting all
I
that
like
together.
doing those.
Is there anything?
As you can tell, we've kind of slowed down, we're kind of picking up more now, as you can tell. And we don't have any easy ones anymore, I don't think.
Yeah.
Send them to Brian, he's like, what? Then Shelby just shakes her head.
July 14th.
So,
Anything else, Amy?
I do not have anything else. Truck
All
and
right.
trailer will be submitting, I believe, again. They're hoping for the February meeting. They have one review under their belt. They had a lot of outstanding issues. They are looking to make, more of a, outdoor storage area in the back, which they've already brought in Phil.
By Home Depot?
All right. All right, look for approval of September 8th minutes.
Motion to approve as submitted. Way to go, Patty.
Support.
Support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Member discussion, anyone have anything to discuss?
I have a couple of things. I'll keep this short for the interest of us sitting here. The legislation in December, both the Senate and the House approved for splits, that you can have up to 10 now. So before it was 4 splits, and then it had to go to the parent parcel and have more. So that was approved, and I believe the governor signed it in the end of December. I don't remember, I didn't hear a final thing on that, but I'll let you know as soon as I know. I also went to the Michigan Planners Association meeting in October in Kalamazoo. It was a fabulous, fabulous event. They had over 68 courses to take there, they didn't offer any of them at an optional time, so every course was the only time they gave it. I attended a number of courses. One of them was underwriting the unknown, how to better financial review can improve your housing outcomes. Good intentions lead to what in terms of, your communities that you're serving. Where traffic meets the bay, a vision for the East Bay. They had 2 different communities that talked about what they were able to achieve with regards to redoing, rezoning, and allocating different uses of those spaces. Navigating law and planning practice, that was a very interesting course to go to in regards to making sure ordinances are complied with. went to the changing role of planning, host community agreements, and decommissioning policies. The feature speaker wrote a book who I gave to Amy, to Kevin, and to Kelly. It's all about the changing of our world in terms of where we live currently. It was driven by people's choices to live and be comfortable with weather, with their lifestyles. It's going to be changing because of natural sciences and what's happening with water, with floods, with the whole landscaping of what's happening with our, with our atmosphere. So they're talking about actually the drive down to the south and the drive to the west is actually going to return, and it's going to be coming up into the central areas. And where there's waters, and Michigan is one of the places where this
Climate haven.
yes, talked about. So it was a fabulous convention. The purpose of the Michigan Association of Planners, and Brian and I had a nice opportunity to chat a little bit. Their purpose is they want to see an overall reaching state ability to have processes in place so that each one of the municipalities throughout the state have some guidance in terms of where to go with their legislation and ideas. The small communities that don't have the capability of having insight and people to help them with developments and such, they feel they want to be able to equal that out in all portions. But they also want the ability for the state to take a lead in terms of, from a Michigan Association of Planners, which we were the first state to actually have association of any in all the United States, of a planning association. They want the state to take a lead in terms of being able to drive how things are allocated for development and housing and transportation. One of the greatest classes I went to was this gentleman, he must have been in his mid-80s, who works for the city of Kalamazoo. And if you read the room, it was all on AI. That room was packed with people that are really into AI. I read the room and I looked at the people that were in there, and everybody was like my kid's age. And he uses AI for his whole development, for that whole strategy for transportation in Kalamazoo. And it's amazing the things that he talked about, what he can do, and he has this whole strategy of the roadways that they're doing and the construction and the sewers, and they have taken their roads down to 3 lanes because the 4 lanes were causing more traffic accidents and timing. So when they constructed it to 3 lanes, he said it's more efficient. But his analysis of what he's able to do with AI in his department, and they've had over 200 applications for permits in the last 2 years. That city is growing like crazy. It's been able to help him facilitate the growth and stabilize and connect with all of his different all the different departments within within the Kalamazoo strategy for their planning and stuff. So it was phenomenal. I was very happy to go. I want to thank the board for allowing me to go. They do have some of their classes online that they were able to give in terms of some of their rollouts for their presentations, but I thought it was very valuable.
It's always a good place. Like I started pushing it last year when everybody was new.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend this year, but I mean, it's worthwhile if you take the time.
I think it's going to be there again next year, I heard.
Kalamazoo?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Could I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, hearing none, motion passes. Thanks, Patty.
Thank you, Patty.
Good job, Amy. A lot of work.
Thanks.
Yeah.